Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Welcome back for another day in the markets. They've just opened up and everything is doing everything that we want it to do, and it's looking good. Coming in from max pain zone and those GME options at 170 bucks. The common ape's very happy. But before we start today's show, people, take a second here. Take a second here, everybody. Just look around you, okay? Just look around you. Look at the, digitally, of course. Look at all the people here next to you right now, okay? Let's take a look around. Just, for example, Goblin Attorney out there. Take a look around and see Stronkel, Mass Spectrometer, Worth His Life, Ronaldo. Take a look at you and say thank you to your friends here, just as they say thank you to you for making all of this possible, for creating the greatest movement on earth. Be sure to say thank you to everybody else, because if it wasn't for everybody else here, none of us would be here, okay? Right, so thank you so much for joining me. My name is Rocky Outcrop. This is, of course, live price action, and the markets have just opened. We're looking to see if the prices today can go up and move up towards the top side on everything that we look at, of course. But we're happy enough to maybe investigate whether or not this is some sort of bull flag over there on AMC, and if we have got a chance of coming in here, perhaps just for a higher high, or to push this potential little triangle formation on the right hand side of GME over just for a bit longer, and then maybe break out towards the top side and maybe come in and fill in our gap. The ideal end to the week, of course, would be $180. That would be nice. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if we can. We'll see. We'll do the analysis here in a second. With AMC, of course, we want to see the prices ending up above $12.50, etc. $13. The battle for that whole $13 hill thing, etc. We want to see that, of course, today. So we'll be checking in with that. And then when it comes to the old cryptocurrency stuff. We're talking about whether or not we're going to be following one of these two stories right now today for the rest of the day. Essentially, you can see that on the Bitcoin charts that after the massive crash, there was, of course, a bit of a recovery, and today, perhaps so far, some follow through. On the Ethereum chart, see the crash, the recovery, and today a bit of rejection or failure, I suppose, to follow through there. So we'll have to see what one of these two narratives, if you like, the prices will be following. It's nice to see everybody out there, and thank you so much to DiggerM for becoming a member. Let me just replay that alert, because that was just literally seconds before I actually went live there on that one. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family, my friend. And so this is just an honest show for honest people, full of honest people, all of us together here just trying to help each other out on a human level. Absolutely love every single last one of you, and because I love you so goddamn much, I'm gonna have to celebrate you with some music. If let me just double check here that everything's all good to go with that one. Let me see, where's Ronaldo? Heck no, gotta spread the love. I wrote it for all of us. Right, brilliant. So great. That's the green light that we have there. Excellent. So where's my screen? Here, let's do it. Let's just take a second to appreciate this guy over here. He's called Ronaldo Moreno. And Moreno means brown in Spanish, and Ronaldo means really fucking cool guy. So that's the translation for you. And if everyone wants to head over to his channel, that's totally doable at some point. There's a link. If you do go now, come back for the live stream. And hit the subscribe button when you're there. And of course, the bell, change it to all, because you never want to miss anything that this guy puts out at all. And here we have an excellent song, and I just want us all to relax and enjoy this for a couple of minutes here as we look forward to a fantastic and wonderful day.
You've got your mind made up, ain't nothing to see, wondering why I'm smiling, looking like I'm dumb money. See, I've earned my chips, screamed in pain, all the while fighting your denial like I don't have a seat at the game. I guess I'm deranged, but I'm gonna hold. I've been down much longer than you have been gone. Keep on paying no mind, I'm setting up mine. Best believe I know my hands are diamond. My future is shining. My hands are diamond. Never bet against me. Yeah. All that money you spent to hedge your bet, but your mistake is my take from my play against your greed. See, I know you tried and conspired your degenerate ways on full display. It's a shame how foolhardy. I guess I'm deranged, but I'm gonna hold. I've been down much longer than you have been gone. Keep throwing chips in, you know in the end, this hand's deeper than your money, fool. My hands are diamond. Our future is shining. My hands are diamond. Never bet against me. Yeah. My hands are diamond. My hands are diamond. I guess I'm deranged, but I'm gonna hold.
It's so good, isn't it? But tell you what, something I noticed when I was watching that video, I didn't actually notice it last night, which is absolutely cool as F. So I had that jumper when I was a kid, except it wasn't those colors. I had a red, it was black, well, navy blue, I suppose, primarily black, and a red version of it. That's just so freaking awesome. Nice one. Thanks for that, Ronaldo. So that's a really nice way to finish up Friday for us, and or finish up the week for us, I suppose. Nice chilled out way. Looking forward to the weekend. When we come back on Monday, I will be playing music from a lovely, wonderful person called Emily. I'll be playing, she's Nitrous M1 if you want to see her on Bandcamp. Rock music. You'll remember I played it earlier on in the music. I'll be playing some of that to get the week going with a bit more energy, but for now, just going to be happy to know that my hands are diamond. Mass Spectrometer says, and that was going to hold on live track with your host, Juice Strongs. Hello, by the way, first off as well, before we crack on any further, thank you so much to Aloha Mofos for becoming a member of the channel. Wow, welcome to the family. What a legend. Thank you so much to you, Justin, Bad Mama Jama, for becoming a member of the family as well. Welcome to Early Supporter. All you guys are fantastic. Tony, thank you so much as well. That's just so brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. The support is phenomenal. That song is phenomenal. The fact that the Common Apes are happy seeing the prices up here at $172 per GME share is phenomenal. And right now, to be honest, I suppose the AMC price action is more or less just kind of standard. More or less kind of standard at the minute, because the phenomenal things start happening for us when we get above this yellow serrated line. So we're just waiting at the minute. We're just using some of that patience that we built up so much. So thanks so much to everybody for joining me, and I hope you did indeed, at least spiritually turn around to your compatriots right now and say thank you to all of you for being part of this journey that we're all doing together. We are, of course, the most friendliest and fantastic revolution on Earth. On planet Earth, that's right. So, during this episode today, I want to try and make a clip, okay? During the episode, I want to make a clip, and I want to upload it to YouTube, and I've got a few targets for that clip, okay? First off, I want the clip to be, excuse me, about 8 minutes long. I don't really mind what length it is. Minimum length has to be 8 minutes, though, of course, right? The other thing that I want from the video is for it to get at least, 1,500 likes, etc. And I thought, how am I going to do that? How am I going to get a video that's at least 8 minutes long and gets 1,500 likes? Oh, what's this? A banana? Somebody just giving me a banana? Thank you so much for the banana, my friend. How am I going to do it? I thought to myself, how am I going to do it? And, well, the answer came to me in a vision. It came to me through the internet, and the vision was on YouTube. And I was watching Andrew Mo Money, and he's just got it figured out. He's just got it figured out. So he's, so when it, there's me thinking, how am I going to get the likes and the views and whatever? And I realized that I needed to get Professor Meatball. Now, I don't actually have a Professor Meatball dog, but I've got this cup with the letter M written on it, and I felt like, that's pretty good. I don't have to give it any treats, but of course I can if I want to. Like chips, for example. So if you want me to, for example, if you want me to feed Professor Meatball, you can, donate to the channel, right? And then I'll give it some chips. I'll take a chip and put it in its face like that, okay? So there's that, and I thought, well, that's good. That'll help me get an extra few minutes of content out of my video. Oh, nice one. Come on, AMC. Push up a little bit here. Good boy. And GME, wonderful GME. Oh, you're just doing so great there at $173. So there's that.
Dad, did I do okay in Discord? Thoughtful face, aka Tea Room.
I think you probably absolutely did, although not. Ooh, yeah.
You've got your
Sorry, gosh, that's so good. Where's the what man? You did fine. I'm sure you did fine. I didn't notice anything not fine. Everything's fine. There's a hell of a lot of positivity in there, and human connection, and all that stuff. Oh wait, you're saying there. Oh man, I don't want to bring that up on screen. Sorry, I can't. Yoink. Right. Yeah, that looks good to me, man. Nice one. It's obviously not perfect, right? I mean, nothing in life is, but cool. Nice one. That looks. I mean, obviously, there's no answers to anything in life, is there? But you're asking if you did okay. I think you did okay, man. Right. Mass spectrometer the teacup. Yes. Right. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing today. I have to figure out. Then I have to try and get 8 minutes of content. I was still struggling, but of course, a vision came to me through the internet. On YouTube, and it was Andrew Mo Money again, and it was quite simple, really. You can get easily 8 minutes of content if you go over to Reddit and find a post. So I was like, oh, I need to find the very, very best post, and I think I've got that right here with this one here. This is a really, really, really important post from Reddit. Actually, no, but if I'm going to make an Andrew Mo Money episode, then we should do that now, right? Okay, so there's a few rules and stuff like that. Try and help me out in the chat as we go through this to give me suggestions maybe and whatever if you like, and that, because as you can see here, this Reddit post is going to take some imagination to really do. Okay. So I'll start off with something extraordinarily positive and bullish and kind of silly sounding in a way, right? I don't know what it is that I'll say, but Wait, I need to like we marker here. Right, great, okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show here, where what we're looking at is some extremely positive price action, and we're going to be talking about how AMC is going to go to $50 bazillion here this afternoon, or at least we hope so, if this DD is accurate. I have Professor Meatball here. Remember to drop in as many donations as you can, and I'll buy some stocks for Professor Meatball and feed him sweets and treats like chips. We'll put Professor Meatball. This is Professor Meatball. Okay, chips in there. Yeah, so remember, that's what we're all about here on the show today. And I've got this amazing due diligence to show you. Here it is. It's a post on Reddit. It quite rightly got 10 million upvotes. You'll notice that I've not voted on this one yet, even though I'm reading it out. I'm not going to tip the button yet. I like to upvote comments on Reddit that I read out after the live show. That's why I'm just not clicking it right this second. And as you can see here, there was a really great due diligence done by this person talking about how, in fact, you know, the CEO of GameStop movie theaters has actually turned a hedge fund into a beef patty, and you can see here that the beef patty consists of a lot of due diligence over here. We're talking primarily purple crayons, and as you can see, the purple crayons here are. Oh, we got a tip in here. We got a tip coming in from Paint by Nate. We need to just give our friend a little treat here. Hi, Professor Meatball. Oh, he's excited. He's excited about the tip. Excellent. Thanks. He really appreciates that. What we're looking at, guy, it's amazing stuff. Anyway, this due diligence is the sort of thing that not everybody out there is believing right now. Do we want the hedge funds to believe it? Yeah, we want to make the hedge funds really scared about this due diligence that's on Reddit. Thanks for that. Yeah, I gave him a chip.
Here's some for Mr. Meatball Mug.
And the only way that we're going to get the hedge funds to actually believe this due diligence here is if you get this video up to 1,500 likes. So if you're watching this right now and it's not at 1,500 likes, and you want those hedge funds to really know that we're coming after them with GameStop movie theater CEO Ryan Adam to turn all of the hedge funds into beef patty, then be sure to hit the like button on this one. Here we have the charts. Let's just bring up all of the charts, and as you can see, there's colors all over. Oh, we're still covering this up with this Professor Meatball. Why did you not tell me to take the Reddit off the chart? Okay, sorry. Cover that. So yeah, as you can see, we've got all these fantastic colors here, drawing on the charts using crayons, primarily crayons here, and you can see that this one has a little bit of a reddish color to it right now. So we're hoping that we get that we turn this green. It's cool though, because we're going to zoom in on the charts here and figure that out precisely with our crayon science in just a minute or two. Over here on AMC, you can see that there's also a primarily currently just a bit of a red crayon color. It's okay though, just for now, because of course we have a multi-pack of crayons. I'm running out of cliches though that we've been using from things. Oh, I can talk about smooth brains, right? Great, because you know, I need to fill this up with. Sorry, don't break the third wall. This episode is going really, really well, guys. Remember, hit that like button and subscribe. Yeah, that's right as well. So let's bring up the AMC chart here, and we'll just kind of do some more of our due diligence right now. So what we were saying is we wanted to see a green candle here, and we'll just encourage the price action by drawing in a green candle just here. And we're looking to try and get the redness to come up here and fill this candle in a wee bit. So we'll just get our brush tool here, see if we can change up some options on it, or whatever to make this. Yeah, that's good. This is fine. So what we're looking for is not for the prices to go up on the left over here, okay, and not for the prices to go up on the right over here, but specifically for the prices to go up in this crayon just here, if we can get that. Obviously, after that, we're looking at a breakout, because that'll be the 6-1 no, the 61.8, the 61.8 Fibonacci zone, guys. Of course, the 61.8 Fibonacci zones. So, of course, there might be dividend distribution. Of course, you know, there's other things, but really, we're kind of looking for the prices to kind of spurt up this sort of direction in general. Not going over to the left too much. Mostly going in the right-hand side direction over here with this one for us. Let's just check in real quick with the GME, the GameStop technical analysis, because I think there are some crayons here as well for us. So yeah, we had some crayon drawings around on this one as well. So what we're really looking to try and do at the minute is to get the prices to go into this hot air balloon here. Now this hot air balloon is actually Meatball and I designed this together. This is actually one of those hot air balloons that actually can go into space, ladies and gentlemen. So what we want to do is have the prices go into this hot air balloon, and then we'll push them to the top. That's great. I like that drawing. So we'll just give another thing. How long's left, guys? I don't think I'm 8 minutes in this yet. I'm going to have to come up with some more things to say for everybody. Okay, yeah, no, I can't actually drag this on for 8 minutes longer. That was good fun and everything. Thanks so much to Andrew Mo Money for, of course, sponsoring this episode today. He has paid me to, of course, make him look good. This is, you know, we try and be transparent here, so I'm going to have to admit, of course, I am an Andrew Mo Money shill. And yeah, I'm on the books. He was paying me to do all of that. So full transparency here for us. Okay, good. Nice one. No, I can't say that. Wait, what? I can't say that for what reason? Oh, because that's not true, by the way. Yeah, sorry. Just quick reminder there from TradeSpotting. TradeSpotting's here with me at the minute, and he says you can't say that, and I said why not, and he said because it's not true. So, and he's right, it's not true. He wasn't actually paying me for this episode at all, so I don't want to give any false. You know, I can't claim to be on the books, Andrew Mo Money's books. I'm not actually. To my great disappointment, of course. Anyhows, great. So the price action today, starting off right, great. We're not going to do too many explanations and stuff for today's show, okay? Yesterday's show was full of the explanations. Oh my god, actually, yesterday's show was just so good. I watched back a bit of yesterday's live stream to put chapters into it. I was quite tired, but I had the orchestra of roadworks outside again last night, and so yeah, I was at a loose end, you could say, throughout the night. So I decided I would put some chapters on my video to give me something to do, and yeah, I was watching it and I was just thinking, oh my god, it's so good. It's a bit weird that to be kind of I don't want to be like big-headed about my own stuff, but I can't believe it. It's honestly that good. So it's just that good. I added chapters to it, so it makes it hella easy for anybody who wants to go and take a look at stuff. My God, it was just so much fun. I think it was partly because I was on that sort of really tired brainwave, you know, I don't know, just when I was just operating. I guess it was rawest me you could possibly get. Now I think I'm too tired to do anything sort of above Andrew Mo Money, so I'm just aiming for that sort of thing. Rocky Outcrop was not paid by Andrew Mo Money. Thank you, Apple Blossom. Yes, get it in there and write in. Everybody needs to know. And I am seeing you all in there, by the way. So thank you so much for everybody for just giving me this support so far during the show. Right. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Worthy. Worth His Life. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Mike. Good to see you here, future cat man. So in the future, you will be a cat, but just for now, I guess you're human after all. Shane Coombe, thanks so much for joining us here. Juro, Ronaldo, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Ronaldo, who did that song. Absolutely fantastic. I guess I'm deranged, but I'm gonna hold. Jeff Bradford, thanks so much for tuning in. Mike as well. We have Eddie, we've got Lee, we've got Paint by Nate, we've got Michael, we've got Donjo, Jermac, yeah, Return of Jermac, Juro, Will Andrews. We've got so many people here, and I love you all so much. I love you so much. Oh my god, I love cats. I love cats. I just love cats so much. Alba Gabra, good to see you, brah. Eddie Koreshi, he's here. Cashew Valador, wow, what a series of names, huh? Alexander McGregor, 177. Boom, boom, boom. So anyway, anybody that drops a like button is of course massively appreciated. We don't really need to get the video up to 150 billion gazillion likes because the hedge funds don't actually watch us on YouTube talking about the FUD articles that go out about places, right? I did think that I would probably actually just bring up the Reddit post again here for a second here. Oh, actually, no, not just yet, but hide that as the price action does interesting stuff here. Let's just flick up to the multi-screen. GME and AMC both doing interesting stuff. Ah, wow. So cool, excellent. 3-minute time frame, bring us right up to that resistance area. The wick, yet again. Look at that wick. Jeepers creepers. Why is that happen every single time? Well, will we get another little phase of consolidation outside of this just like we did back over here? As you can see, that turned into a sort of descending triangle that broke back down into the price action again. Oh wait, where was it? No, actually just that. No, here. Here. Webs. Anyway, let's see if we can get some more of that good stuff on the go. Get some follow through though, is what I really want. I want follow through, god damn it. I want follow through. I want follow through, as they say in Fayetteville, Vietnam. And we have, of course, the GameStop price is moving up here. This is the GameStop chart currently. We've taken out that high on the left. That's good. 176.53. That's good as well. We've come in and done it without divergence. That's good. If we see a pullback from here and go back down to one of these moving averages along the way and put in higher lows and higher highs, then that's cool. I don't mind spending the day just like, you know, twisting shorter's arms slowly but surely, just to kind of push them up away and away from sort of in even greater pain zones. I don't mind doing that. That's cool. The upward strength trend in the 3-minute time frame is showing us that, of course, while we're up at that extreme zone, that, well, of course, we're up in that extreme zone, so we're just going to keep on going and going and going. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. As you can see, we've never done it in the past before, but that's clearly what's going to happen here. It's just going to keep on going directly from now. Just kidding. Don't take me seriously. That's not what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic there. Of course, these things are natural oscillations in the market. We could see a little bit of a pullback from here, just a little bit, but it's all good. The common ape is super happy. If we can fly on up towards the 180 zone, then of course we'll be putting in a bit of a high area where we're pushing outside the price action. It'd be so nice to see that happen, and then of course, you know, try and base up a little bit higher than that so we don't have to drop back down a bit again thereafter. When it comes to the AMC price action, how are we doing? Are we managing to maintain that? Should I just open up? Just let me just duplicate this so I can flick between tabs instead of having to type in all the time. That would be wiser, wouldn't it, Rocky? Oh, great, AMC as well already. Straight up there. I hit duplicate and it opened up on AMC. Ha! How'd that happen? Might be speaking a bit quietly. Sorry, a bit tired. Fucking mic keeps falling down lower as well. Fucking mic. Sorry, not you, Mike. Love you, Mike. Mike Stand. It's Mike Stand that I don't like. You know that guy, Mike Stand? Yeah, man, I hate Mike Stand as well. I want more AMC, but want another discount, says Leda. Yeah, man, you want a discount? Of course you want a discount. It would be nice to have that arranged for you. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can arrange a discount. I'm pretty happy to see any discounts coming in on AMC or GME, to be honest with you. What is this crap in my hair? What have we done? Is that one of... Maybe that was a little treat for Meatball. That's better. Right, okay. So, damn it, technical analysis. Why'd you do that to us again? Gosh, you know, guys, if I hadn't drawn this on here, then of course we'd have slammed right on up through that zone. God damn it. Yes, it's my fault. I'm sorry, everybody. GME, though, on the other hand, is ignoring us, which is what we want. Go ahead, please, put in, stuff your ears with wax, my friend. Do not listen to me. This prices are just you. Carry on, just carry on. That's good. You keep doing you. Right. So I was going to talk a little bit about the old due diligence stuff. Let's have up the old multi-screen again for this one. GME looking really nice on this chart. It's really nice movement there. This is 24-hour time frame. Really solid day so far today. You know, if we can maintain, if whatever we can put in here, fantastic. We've come up towards the edge of the gap here. Right. This is what's actually going on just before we talk about other stuff. Come right up towards the edge of that gap there. You can see the current price line. There's this little green dotted line floating over to the left there. That shows you what the latest buy was on there, okay? And it's just overlapping this wick just at the minute. It's showing us that we're right at the edge of that gap that we identified. Now, can we? We can't at the minute, just not this second. Right, come on, that's what we're looking for. That's what we want to see happening. A little bit surprised, I suppose, that it's just went ahead straight away and did the whole going up towards the gap that we spoke about. But that's good. That's just great. That's fine. Yeah, cool. Let's just keep it going. When we do get pullbacks, obviously, what we don't want to see is taking out these lows. And because we started off the day here at 170, it means that we've got that sort of common ape target thing again. That's just more or less what we want to see happening. We want to see that being maintained, and then also to kind of push up higher, not take out whatever subsequent next low is, etc., etc. Ethereum's kind of gone back to being a doji, and Bitcoin's got a little bit of follow through. So overall, a risk on appetite so far for the start of Friday morning. Yeah, nice to see you, Will, and nice to see you, Spencer. Nice to see you, Jason, out there. Good to see you, Evan. Good to see you. Everybody. Troublemaker says, lol. I say lol. Lots of lettuce. Give me more lettuce. Order it up. Add more shredded lettuce and more other lettuce. And I'll have more pickles as well, actually. And, additional onions as well. Ooh, yes, nice. I have obviously ordered from McDonald's recently enough, if anybody's wondering. So we had this due diligence, right? Now, of course, the picture is merely symbolic. What it's talking about is some sort of FUD out there whereby, I don't know, what was it people were saying? Melvin Capital have covered their shorts or some crap like that. Some article that was kicking about now. We all know about this from yesterday because we're talking about it in the chit chat, okay? We're talking about the chit chat and how it was actually published. Was it Market Insider article, right? And it was talking about data from 2018. And it was completely wrong. But nevertheless, let's just kind of cover this again real quick with this amazing due diligence from this Reddit user. You'll see his name is I don't believe the hype or whatever. So I guess that. And what he's saying here is that article that was published yesterday. Well, we all know that it had a date from a couple of years ago. It was actually also really just released at a certain time in order to create FUD. What is FUD? Let's just have a quick reminder. And you can see here that I don't believe the hype is telling us that FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So the fear is the price is dropping. The uncertainty is basically the same word as doubt, isn't it? They're synonyms of each other. Is that really actually? Have I got that wrong now? I'm just thinking because what's that? Whatever. We just like repeating ourselves. So the uncertainty aspect is that we don't know if Melvin Capital have done something and whatever, and the doubt aspect is whatever. Just you fill in the blanks. And what the point in it is to of course create those feelings in people in the run up to the week closing. So that's one aspect of it. That's like the conspiratorial aspect of it. Then there's the other aspect to it, which is that these things are written by morons, right? So just take any random moron thing and go and give it to your random moron boss who works for random moron news website.com, and he looks at it and goes, this journalism, the integrity of this journalism is très bon. I can see that it will get the clicks on our website, and therefore it's newsworthy. The facts are facts. Did you check them? Yeah. So that's all good, right? And basically, we're going to run with it. We also did notice that there was a couple of spelling mistakes in there, but we're going to leave them in just so that people know that it was written by a real human, etc. That sort of thing. I really don't know. I don't know what goes through these people's heads, but it's kind of along those lines. Look, it's just bullshit, and then it's just the FUD economy that we were talking about yesterday. Anyway, we don't really need to care. We can bring this back up again and talk about short interest and all sorts of stuff. If anybody's got any questions, I suppose, for me today that go along those lines, I'll just answer them using a Reddit post, Okay. So great. All right. So everything's fantastic. What? If anybody wants me to take a look at anything in particular, etc., then do be sure to let me know in the chitter chatter box over there, and I'll get round to it. For surezies, I'll get around to it for surezies. Don't worry about that. I'll be answering all sorts of questions, and we'll be talking about crypto and other things as well during today's show. By the way, for people who don't know, this is a channel that has existed since the 1st of January 2020. We've been doing technical analysis here at a pretty decent level for quite a while and educating people all along the way. There are over 1,400 videos uploaded to the channel, and of course, of the 1,400 of them, the vast majority are about cryptocurrencies and educating people with technical analysis stuff, and it's pretty full-on education. And you can go back and watch any video and look at the charts from that time, and I'm sure you'll find a few lessons in there and a bit of insight into understanding how the market moves. Okay, that's what we do here. So I've been having people say to me recently, oh, we've got to keep this going after MOAS ends. And I just want everybody to rest assured, you're tuning in here. This is a channel that existed before MOAS and will exist after MOAS. And the channel's core purpose as well as talking about this is what it was, and Jimmy will attest to it, is that was thinking, oh, what am I going to do? What's going to be my USP on YouTube and stuff? And it was to, did I miss a super chat? I think I did. It was to make friends, right? Just be friends, just be friendly, have friendships, be friendly, all that. And that's really just the core of what we're doing here, and that'll keep going forever. I really do recommend everybody check out yesterday's episode that I put out. That has chapters, so you can skip. There's technical analysis, and the way that I do things when I'm, really on in the zone, like let's just, was yesterday, right? Is sometimes is that I like to kind of build up a picture where you can kind of learn a bit more and a bit more along the way that you go. So actually, you really should kind of watch all the episodes always, blah blah blah, and that, because if you watch the day before yesterday's episode, you'll learn about certain concepts like Wyckoff distribution and volatility, etc., and extreme price action during squeezes. And then we take that information from the day before yesterday and put it into what we were looking at yesterday and combine it with some stuff from Bulkowski, who's a guy who wrote a book about patterns for use during technical analysis when you're trading, and what he talked about at phases at the top of the market, and then combined all of that knowledge together with Fibonacci theory and moving averages as well to identify trend in the markets and where would be the best risk reward opportunities for trading, building up all along the way. So really really pretty good stuff. And there's also up to the date TA then on PLS. They're an Australian mining company. What else did we have in there in yesterday's show? Alongside it, we had a range of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Tezos, and more. And we had of course GME and AMC, and we were teaching a whole load of stuff. So I really do recommend it. And it's that sort of content that you can expect forever here on the channel. Okay, so it's always going to be that. It's always going to be good. And what we're doing here is, when we meet people and build community, is that we're forming something far greater than any single event out there, because we'll last a lot longer. And I'm really looking forward to the day when, for example, I get like a little video clip sent to me from somebody outside of an orphanage that they've just built, whatever, that sort of a thing. As this community, of course, will go on to not only first off starting off improving and changing our own lives so that we're more capable and equipped to improve the lives of those around us, but of course going on to actually have a delible impact on the world. Nice to see you, Peter Ewer. Hey, hello, brother. Said your name a bit better there, maybe today for the first time ever. Hey, it's only taken me a year and a half, but Peter Ewer. Nice. Good to see you, everybody. Right, so what is it that anybody would like to take a look at right now? We're kind of are waiting for, we've got GME moved up towards its point of resistance. It's moved away from it a little bit, so that's just what happens. We have to kind of let the tide go. When you go down to the beach and you see a big wave coming in and it moves the water up onto the shore, and then the next big wave comes up and moves the water further onto the shore, and then the next wave comes in and then it starts to cover you in water, and then the next wave comes in and it goes all over the houses next to the beach, and then the next wave comes in and goes into the city itself. And that's how the way the sea works? No, it's not the way the sea works, by the way. The water comes in, it goes out as well, goes in and out, right? So the wave came up, whoosh, it pulled back a bit, whoosh, And now we have to wait and see, you know, as the tide coming in and out. And that's just how these things go. It's essentially, looking at the charts is very, 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 very similar to when you just arrive at a beach. Okay, and a lot of people, I think, surely almost everybody will have had this experience, but it's certainly something that I think about every time I go to the beach. And I don't know what the tide is, right? Because I've not been there the day before, or the night before, the morning before, or I've not listened to the shipping news, etc. So I don't know what stage the tide is. And I arrive on the beach and I look down at the water, and I can see that recently the sand there, that's a little bit lighter than the sand over there. It's a bit darker. So the waves must have gone up to that point and then receded from there. So I get a rough impression by looking at the shadows on the beach as I arrive to see where the tide might be. But nevertheless, I still have to stand there myself and put my feet right at the edge of the water, let it come up towards me, kind of dance back a wee bit, etc. for 10 minutes just to really figure out if the tide is actually coming in or going out. And I do that every single time I go to the beach. And it's the same thing every time you open up the charts. You know, you can see where the prices have been, and we're waiting to see if, you know, our feet are going to get a wee bit damp at the toes next, and we can push past certain levels, or if maybe the tide's going back out, etc. And that right now we've just had that nice movement. Okay, that's what we're at with that one. Good to see you, Alan 420. Good to see you, Daniel. Excellent. That's right, the old in and out. Exactly. Arika, thank you for joining us. Just listening as I groomed dogs this morning. Oh, hello, doggies. I hope you're all doing very, very well. I hope you're doing well as well, Arika. Nice to have you here as well as ever. Any news in the stars? What's happening now? I myself personally, I don't like subscribe to like astrology or whatever, but I know that a lot of people out there do, right? A lot of people out there do, and Arika's one of them, and she knows a heck of a lot about it, to the point where you know, I'm like, what is she talking about? I don't even understand, man. I don't even understand. And that's kind of what sometimes it's like when I'm doing technical analysis on the channel. Yesterday, when I was watching the replay back to put the chapters in, I saw somebody came along at one point. He was like, I can't remember who it was that said it. Sorry, but they said, are there any videos out there explaining what this guy's talking about? I didn't see the comment at the time. I'd be like, yeah, man, like fucking 1,400 of them on the channel right here, bro. Just you know, pull up a seat. It's all right. 6 months time, you're going to be like actually rocking people's world with what you know. But everybody, you know, but they don't necessarily understand. Well, it's kind of the same, I suppose, when Arika talks about, or anybody talks about astrology. They're like, so what we have over here is Pluto rising into Jupiter's shadow, and the quantum apex is just coming up over Manhattan. And I'm like, what? What? So anyway, I know nothing about it, but I like it that people like it or whatever. I don't subscribe to anything, but I'm hardly going to sit over here knowing nothing about something and say that it doesn't mean anything. Why would I do that? That's just retarded. That's just Mr. Didn't mean to say that word. Kind of said half of it. That's just a sort of silly thing. It's all building blocks, says Arika. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's what we do here in the channel with the technical analysis. You take a building block, another building block. If you understand how the two different building blocks fit together and overlap, then you might get a little bit of extra insight, etc. Move along. Anyway, I would describe yesterday's episode, by the way, when it came to all that sort of stuff, as being like quite often level 2, level 3 sort of thing. So if you are as well looking to learn technical analysis and you like want to understand it, well, a good answer to that guy at the time that asked would have been to go back to the start of the episode and just watch it again, and you'll see a lot of these concepts are explained. And then if you don't understand those concepts, you can find a lot of explanations for them on Rocky's channel, etc. But then it builds up and builds up. And then as well, for people who actually want to take their TA to like the second level and the third level and really kind of get to that, you know, the master level of technical analysis, which is very rare, right? Then it's all in there as well, kind of hand-holding you along the way. So it's definitely what to do. Rocky, maybe talk about shorts and how they affect the charts to paint the picture we see. You were talking a little bit yesterday about 30% of what they could have made on PLS to push it back down. Right. Right. Okay, so I need to kind of, that's the right, full disclaimer, folks, by the way. I forget what I talk about, right? So despite the fact that that's that mining company from Australia that we looked at yesterday, and Shane Coombe watched it and paid attention clearly, and I said something, I'm now sat here going, What did I say? My memory doesn't work. Also, I was quite tired. Uh, but talking about shorts, how they affect the charts, etc. Well, just in terms of the normal, um, price movements, you know, a lot of people look at shorting data from sort of options, etc., where you're able to report on things which can then put it into a box that you can label as short, you know, because it's an options contract. It's kind of all laid out there, like, you know, with the puts and the calls and all the rest of it, depending on what it is, what way round they've gone, etc. So you can see, so you can see something and say something about it, and a lot of people then take that and they try and say that then every sell is a short and every buy is a long, just in general. But a lot of sells that happen as well are not necessarily shorts necessarily, although technically they kind of are. Sirens, because you know, a lot of people would, the action of going short could just be covering your long, you know, your overall position might still be long, but you might have opened up shorts. Okay, so your net might be long, or your net might be neutral, right? Your net might be neutral because you've got a gross long position and a gross short position concurrently. So, so the actual interest of anything at any given time isn't necessarily representative of the interests of those in the market itself. Quite to the extent where it's actually never representative of it. It's just never is. It can't be. Which opens up the door for loads of different things. For you know, in terms of like if I have a straw in my milkshake and it goes over to your milkshake and I suck through the straw, then I drink all of your milkshake. Okay, like that. There will be blood, for anybody who's wondering. One of the best scenes. God, that whole scene in the bowling alley. I know it's powerful stuff, right? But wow, just that was amazing. Really, actually, a really good movie. That, despite also kind of looking back and thinking when I watched it at first, I was like, is this a boring movie or is this the best movie I've ever seen? I'm not entirely sure right now. If you share Rocky's link via tweet and tag it with AMC and GME hashtags, our community will grow. I did, and it seemed like the viewers showed short up in a bit. Oh, thanks, Existential. Bang. Wow, nice one. That's great. It's so great to know that it works. It's funny because I share my own links and stuff like that, and it doesn't seem to change it from one thing to the next. But that's because you know, everybody knows about me or whatever. So it's really, really effective when someone who isn't me shares me. I've discovered over a while. Nice to see you in here, Tim Eaton. Right. Well, we also had Paint by Nate asking me, I noticed on the day chart for GME on your DMI, there are portions that are highlighted. What do the highlighted sections mean? What do the highlighted sections mean? We're showing here that since we've had this little sort of risk movement down the way in GME, also Bitcoin and Ethereum suffering as well. Now, these things aren't directly linked, but there is obviously been a little bit of negative price action. So Bitcoin was up in the 40,000s. It dropped back down. It's at 39,000, 38,000, something at the minute. Ethereum, by the way, was today up at 2,900, you know, right, you know, kissing that $3,000 number, back down again at the minute at 2,500. So suffering over there, but the volatility is for real. You can see the size of these candles don't look like they're huge because we had that candle there. Maybe that's average. Actually, that was such a huge candle. So the price action today and yesterday as well, huge. So a lot of people in there taking advantage. Blood in the water attracts sharks day trading, etc. in there. don't mean to be negative about them because I'm often a shark myself in that sense. So there's blood in the water, and of course people are trading around and taking advantage of that, buying and selling volatility, buying and selling risk at certain key areas. It's quite it's the sort of bread and butter stuff happening over there. We really do want to see things take out certain areas so that that bread and butter activity can just happen at a different level. You know, that's what we want to see happen. That's what it's like when you get the prices up to 180 here on GME, or closest to 180, is that we're up there, and that's one of those areas that, of course, then they sort of they think, right, there's opportunity here. If we could just push it past that zone, then people could then exploit those opportunities at a higher level, and that would be nice to see. And it's just having that go along the way with higher highs and higher lows results in the mentality in the market of, well, I'm going to be able to exploit this, but only to a certain extent, because the next phase of this, if we look back at what just happened, is likely to tick up to the next level, which means that whenever the prices do push up to certain areas, people are slightly less and less interested at going against it and shorting that movement, because they think, well, maybe this ticks up and I short it down from there, etc. And that's how trends functions. This is why you got this pushing up, pulling down, the pushing up, pulling down, and then of course you get to a certain area where you look at your previous support and resistance, and people are like, well, maybe the activity exists within this range, in this range, etc. And then if that range doesn't happen and you get too much sideways price action, that's when of course traders look around, you know, talk about seeking volatility and moving from one market to another in terms of like where the sort of the intraday short term traders are, as opposed to like position traders. Anyway, Bitcoin continues to suffer at the minute, 38,400, and Ethereum continues to suffer at 2,500. We'll see if they change around a wee bit. And at this stage in this sentence, I have completely forgotten what kind of inspired me to start talking about this, because there was something about, you said yesterday at 180 something highlighted sections mean, oh, the DMI. Yeah, that's right, the DMI. Bringing up a chart here so we can take a look at it. This is a section here. This is the 3-minute chart on AMC, and looking up at this, you can see there's a highlighted section right here. I'll explain what the highlighted section means after I kind of talk about it in the most basic way in terms of the implications for price action. We can see that the prices, whenever the party stopped, were down here. The party stopped, what I mean by that is whenever the gray area stopped being highlighted. Okay, so that disappeared, and just kind of looking down the way roughly. So it was like in there somewhere. Oh, I just drew on the wrong thing. In here, so, oh, that's wrong. Trying to make this the most visible way. Don't know if I was doing that a very good job for making that easy to see for people, but whatever. So can I move this back up now, please? Right. So it's down in there where the prices were when that stopped. We knew that's where that stopped happening at. And then what did we say happened? Well, we saw prices did whatever, and then lo and behold, during open market hours, they came back down to this area just here, which is where the prices were whenever the gray box went away. Okay. So you can see there was volatility ensued, and then we came back down, and the volatility was a nice closed loop of volatility that came back to where we left off at. This can be looked at on any time frame, and it is something which I would hesitate to say proud, but I'm pleased with myself for having discovered, let's call it. Because I didn't invent the DMI, and I wouldn't claim to be a mathematician at all or any of that sort of stuff, but it's just you know, whatever. So but this is mine, right? Never heard anybody else talk about this. And what the reason for this is because at this point here you can see the ADX, which is the lower of these lines currently in this section. It was red and it turned to be this white hot blue color. That's kind of how I describe it, but it's white at this point. It got really white. Okay. The volatility itself dropped very low at that point. Not the volatility, the strength of trend. Now, if I just go to my inputs thing on this DMI, I've changed it. I call it the volatility zone level, and I've made it 11 just here. So this means that when the ADX is below 11, then it highlights the background. If I just change it up a bit to 12, 13, so you can find the sensitivity, if you like, in terms of this, that suits you for whatever you're looking at. But I have set it to 11 on my charts. I think maybe when I coded this out, I put it to 12, so it's out of the box. It might be set to 12. I kind of cut it down to 11. You know, you can choose your own and everything. I'm not going to say that there is a perfect way. Just so that people know, by the way, whenever you come up with any sort of indicator, you're looking for something that's just kind of going to be within a best fit. And you could scale out, you could map out how successful any of it is using like one of these bell curves where, you know, it goes up and down. So you talk about distribution. So there's an area in the middle where it's a much of a muchness which one you choose, but you go an extra step out away from that, then its reliability drops off a cliff. So really you're just kind of like looking to get into that sort of zone. And for me, I put it in at 11. This means that the ADX is dropped below 11, which is the strength of trend element of the DMI. I'll not go into any more detail as to how the ADX is calculated right here, right now, because I have a video where I talk about the DMI and I talk about it for like an hour, and that section is maybe 10 minutes, etc. of that. So we'll not go down that road. However, suffice it to say that the ADX is like a measurement of the strength of trend. And at this point here, the strength of trend has got so low. The way that this is measured often has a setup where we get a shock move, or sort of to the markets where it goes up and down again, back to where it left off. Now you don't get like another white line coming up saying it happened, because I didn't program this thing out to be like an actual sort of trading for dummies thing. This was made. Well, it was actually made for me, by me, for me. And then it was subsequent to doing that I gave it to other people. So I didn't do that because I didn't want it. And well, there you go, right? That's essentially the long story short. Anyway, more examples then of this come in here, for example. So I'll just take out the vertical line. This will make this job a little bit easier instead of always using the arrows. And just kind of pop in something roughly in around about here. You can see, so the prices were at about the neutral line at that point of this, not the neutral line, but the middle point of our little range here. And we know that the prices came right back to it, of course. And this is confluence at this point in terms of what we've noticed in terms of on the chart itself. The price action area has confluence with it. So it's again of absolutely no surprise to see that this was an inflection point that the prices really, you know, came up to quite deliberately. It looked like it was seeking that level out. But it's nice to see that it ties in with that DMI construct. Got a little flash of it just here. You know, I'm not going to go into whether or not there's rules about how this thing works. Obviously, you can see that one worked out fairly well. This is a 3-minute time frame, so it's not just on the daily; it's on every time frame. So here we have AMC on the 30-minute time frame. Just scrolling over to the right and seeing, did we get any signals? So we didn't get any. You know, so like, and that's fine, because you know, this is a signal which you're not going to get all the time on every single time frame, because on this time frame it was the result of the underlying volatilities, etc., that actually did create a trend move, etc. Then you can go up towards different time frames and you will find them kind of appearing, etc., at certain times. So it's worth keeping an eye out for. It's just there as a sort of like little warning. Now they don't have to happen. It's like anything else in trading. They don't have to happen. They just can happen. And there's a fairly decent likelihood that it will happen when it happens. Bring up a random chart here. How about BAND versus USDT? Just to see a random chart, just to see. This is a 24-hour time frame, so it's a different time to what we were looking at before. You know, you see the prices were here at this level when the party stopped. That was at about $17. Clearly, they came back down, and it was at $17 that we found again that there was this. It actually flipped over and became resistance at $17, but that was where that happened. Also, incidentally, just before, you can see that there was another area just here. The prices dropped down. They came right back to where they left off at again, just straight after. So you can imagine how this would be a sort of money making device, right? Now, I'm not going to say, because I'm not a financial advisor, but you could imagine how it could be a money making device, I'm sure, if you were able to apply that to the charts. How about we bring up some other random thing? How about an exotic forex pair that I'm unlikely to have looked at in quite a while? Well, I don't really have any real exotics, any true exotics on this one. How about, well, here's one of the most commonly traded pairs. We know that it's very stable. Aussie and US dollar. So there's one happening right now. Looking back the way, it's been quite a while since we've had one of these areas show up. Quite a while. So let's just see, because like, interesting, nice one. So over here, it ended there and it went down there. That was like nothing. That was nothing. I mean, you could maybe talk about it from a broader perspective, but that was a non-event, really. Let's have a look somewhere else and see if it's working on euro dollar on the 24-hour time frame. Well, it did. I mean, it went from 109 to 110 to 109 again there. You know, I mean, it's obviously forex. You're talking tiny numbers for changes always, but yeah, it worked there. And obviously, the more recently historically the sort of the true, if the true range is larger, then you're going to see bigger impacts on that thing. So that's what that is, right? So that's what that is. Designed by moi, your friend, Rocky Outcrop, here live on YouTube all the time. For free, available for free, by the way. Anybody who wants that, it's available for free. It's all good. Just go to, I'll just stick it in the chat in case nobody has already. I've not actually looked in there and seen gumroad.com/Rocky Outcrop. No need for anybody to pay, just so you know, but you can if you want to. It's one of those types of websites. You do you, bro. It's one of them. Right. Kyle Watson. Thanks, guys, says Kyle. That's great. You're welcome. I'm sure everybody was saying welcome. That's cool that you're all talking that you're fairly new to investing. That's great. So I wouldn't recommend somebody just go and think to themselves, aha, brilliant. Rocky has developed a tool, which means I can just use that and no longer have to think. That's awesome. That's not the way that that's going to work for you, probably. Well, I don't know, because I've never used it as a non-thinking individual, so I couldn't properly tell you. I'd have to get. I couldn't tell you there from subjective experience, and of course, I can't be objective about that. So I'll leave it up to you to decide. Paint by Nate says, "Thanks. This is really helpful. Appreciate the time taken to explain it. I watched your DMI video as well. Highly recommend it to everybody." Oh, great! There we have it. There we have it. Thanks very much, Nate. Painty Nate, the Natey paint. Shall we take a wee quick look then at a few different cryptocurrencies? Like what is going on here with? Well, actually, no. We can talk about how GME has managed to come back down to 171.55 or so, $172, and that's then great. That could be a higher low for us. Really don't want to see the prices, pushing down to $168 from here and kind of failing that. That would be crappy, but this is a little higher low. That's great. You can see RSI higher than it was previously, all just going along almost identical to the price action up above. Excellent. AMC just still doing its thing. Right, come on, AMC. Are you going to pick it up a bit? That's the GME one. I'll just bring up AMC. And go up to the most recent price action. I deleted all these drawings, these arrows, before I opened up the chart today, but evidently didn't hit the save button. Or else I just drew them in today and I've forgotten because my short-term memory doesn't function because I've had about 6 hours sleep in the last 2 days. I'm not too sure. One of the two. I mean, you can see on the larger time frames where you consolidate all the price action into one candle that like this is clearly an important area for us and remains so. That's clearly an important area for us and remains so. And we're just in here tight like the tiger, as they say, waiting for some springboard action. What's that? What just happened? What's that? Somebody just subscribed. Matthew Edwards just subscribed. I'm on to you, Matthew. I know who you subscribe to on YouTube. You subscribe to me. Haha. Caught ya. Thanks. Mining Boom says, "Hi, Jimmy." That's cool. You're talking to each other in there. Oh, that's because Jimmy had previously said, "Hi, Mining Boom." Wow, nice one. There's a pattern. I think I've found a pattern, Watson. Nav and Ethan says, "Howdy, y'all." And I say, howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, there we have it. Paul B. Me again. I followed your info yesterday about CLF. It did what I think you said it would do. Short term 20, mid-term 25, still stand.
Me again. I followed your info yesterday about CLF. It did what I think you said it would do. Short term 20.00 and midterm 25 still stand?
Ba-bum, bum, bum. The Cleveland Cliffs. Go Cliffs! To me, the Cleveland Cliffs sounds like a sports team. Sounds like an American sports team, mind you. Not like one we'd have around here. I don't know what that means to anybody. Let me just hide my... Let me just bring this up full screen and see how we're doing. Bounced off that 50 simple with like that's what happened yesterday. Follow through up towards the top side today, or well, a bit of continuation after the bounce area, and that's good. And we're below the 36 moving average. They are both still pointing down the way, but we're we've satisfied that question, is this being a channel? So we had an edge yesterday which we were able to exploit, even so far today as well, with the price action coming down to those zones to give us that to exploit that. Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to see, right? I mean, obviously, look, one of the things is that when you do like this sort of thing, right, and it isn't a sort of, oh, I'll just take my money and stick it on something blindly. What you're saying to yourself is, I'm going to do this the proper way. They're using the scientific method, like Rocky described. I'm going to like try and set up something there whereby I would know if I was wrong, which means that you've identified how you would know if you were wrong in advance, which means when you're looking at something, you can then imagine being wrong very easily, which can add to the anxiety as you take a position, which is right. So some people, when they get into trading for the first time, lose a lot of confidence that they have, not because they really should be losing the confidence from a sort of, let's just write out everything, look at it clinically and scientifically. They're losing it for human reasons, because, you know, emotionally they have actually got the intellectual ability to understand what's happening. So there's new emotions going on there that they haven't accounted for in advance. Okay, so what happens then when you've done some good TA and you're aware of a potential thing happening, and it kind of starts to happen a little bit like that, but it's right on the cusp and it's not, you know, blasted away off quite yet. Your brain says, I know what's happening here. And your heart says, oh my goodness, now I understand for the first time. This is giving me a bit of anxiety. And that's the way that this things go. So we came down towards the lower end of that channel. We've had a bit of a bounce so far today. Perfect. Yeah. It's still on. I mean, our edge was there. We've talked about it. We planned for it. It's happening now. We can manage our risk as well accordingly. We're in a position here where, you know, just like any great battle commander, you know, you have to set up your plan and sort of stick with it. Just got a wee shout from Jimmy in the background saying everything's dropping. You should check it out. Not big deal there. It's fine on that one. GME, not big deal yet. Oh, Bitcoin, the cryptocurrencies is what you meant. Yeah, they're dropping. Let's see. Okay, there's really tanking now. 37,000 and 24,076. So we've had another $100 knocked off Ethereum. So far the cryptocurrencies are chasing along after the. Let's go check in with some cryptocurrencies. They're chasing along. Yes, mate. Sorry, the answer. Sorry, Paul. Looks like we're doing all right. Okay, we're still on for that. Oops, still on for that. Here's Bitcoin today. Wow, yeah, Jimmy was totally right to give me a shout out for that one. Look at that. That is a big candle, right? What percentage have we got here in this 1 hour candle? 10% in 1 hour. 10% in 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen. So really, you know, real weakness there. There's no depth of support for this, you know, so that's not good. The markets are able to exploit this weakness and push the prices down. We had a bit of a wedge here, pushing it down. We talked a lot about the price action. I mean, this has happened very shockingly and suddenly, and it's brought us down to this key area. So I can understand, very anxiety inducing. What we talked about after V-shaped recovery type thing is how you're going to have a drop down and then another retest down thereafter. You're looking to try and put in higher highs, etc. And overall here in the Bitcoin price action, you can see that we resisted at a 42K area. We weren't able to push past it. The significance of that being that we weren't able to put in a higher high. The 200 simple coming right down here in the 30-minute time frame and just kind of dictating our tops. And then we pushed down. And when the prices then were getting tighter and tighter at the lower end, you can see here there was this green line. And that is, of course, which Fibonacci retracement? 382, is it? Or something like that. That is the 382. So it pushed down past that at that point, and it was that point that kind of let it drop down the way. And it's an expression of this range, you know, it's an expression of this range. And one of the way that these things work is because they've been bought up by people along the way, and sort of, you know, that whole queue of people that was buying it at these prices, waiting, and they bought it there. Then some other people waited and bought it there. Some other people waited and bought it there. They're all gone now, and then it pushes down, and that creates a range, and that's how you can get these patterns to kind of work. That's you know, the sort of the general sort of functioning behind these patterns. Could we be then looking on even further down on this one? We absolutely could. We could be looking down at 34,000 before we find a low on this. But also 60%, you know, it is essentially pretty impossible to tell. This is obviously very negative in the here and now. very negative in the here and now. In terms of oscillators and whatnot, it could come in for then the hidden bullish divergence. Overall, it could, let's just check and see on a more decent time frame, you know, because this is your last low overall. We put in a high and a low and a high, and then we didn't put in a higher high, and we had flux where we went sideways, and now we're coming in to put in potentially a higher low, so long as the prices don't take out 35,000. So anywhere between here and 35,000 results in a higher low. And then you look at the oscillator down below. No, that's not hidden bullish divergence, the stochastics, but you have it on the MACD and you have it on the RSI, and you have it on the DMI as well. So ideally, you know, this starts to bounce now and kind of comes back up. So we're going to expect then to get a resistance again at the 40k area. The 39, 40k area is going to be hard if we start pushing back up past that. Hopefully we get enough steam in our sort of engines to be able to push up and take out 42k. I don't care if we immediately come back down overall and consolidate around those areas, but taking that out, close out one of the 30-minute candles up there. So even do it in the last 5 minutes of a 30-minute candle and just do it, get up there, close it up there, let it sink back down to 40k afterwards, 42k, whatever, doesn't matter. Essentially at that point, so long as it stays above 37,000, you'll have then got your next higher low. So big dramatic swings there. And of course, a lot of people right now in crypto world will completely and absolutely shat their pants looking at that. I mean, they absolutely would. The incidentals here when it comes to Ethereum and the difference between it and Bitcoin at the minute is, of course, that we did get lower closures here on this low after the V-shaped recovery. It actually had a huge retest. This is why we draw in our measurements wick to wick as well so often. Well, that's not why, but this is one of the reasons why. Essentially, it is why, because it boils under the whole thing as TradeSpot and so rightly said. I like to include all of the price action, and there you have it. And then in his Fibonacci video, then you have here that we came down towards the 618 overall for our closure anyway. I mean, it was in amongst it. So it stayed within the kind of the rules, whilst it did actually get a lower closure in there, which is handy for like the for the bullish divergent lovers out there. So we had that really bullishly divergent low after all. This then coming in lower than this in terms of RSI than our previous low gives us that hidden bullish divergence. So really, you know, those are the hopium factors essentially, because let's not be blind. You know, this is massively dumped down market, really bearish overall. It's really bearish price action for the last fairly significant chunk of time. You know, since say the 12th of May, for example, has been really quite bearish here. Or you could say, if you like, since the 14th of May, whatever. So last wee while, really bearish. So we're looking for something that's counter trend, which is why I'm looking at those things and saying, well, could we possibly have anything there? Could we possibly have anything? And also adding like tons of hopium into this to say that that's hidden bullish divergence, because, you know, like I'm saying, the overall trend has been for the last couple of days then towards the downside. For this to then be a trend with one low and one high, and this to be our first higher low overall is like really, like, that's from the hopium book, okay? So don't get confused by that, but it has that setup to it. So that's why I'm talking about it. If we could get above the 200 simple here, it would be absolutely phenomenal at the minute, because of course that's now lining up with $3,000. Okay, so it would be phenomenal to take that out as our next high, because then, of course, you're doing a round number. We could maybe have a little base up there. So I can understand a lot of people out there in the crypto world would be, of course, absolutely, you know, really getting the brown trousers out right now. Really giving it the brown trousers just now. China just announced another crackdown. Well, there we go. Going to crack down on the crypto people. China, of course, is, you know, a fifth of the world or something like that. It's a lot of people. Chris Sweeney, it sounds like a large financial sector's doing a dump and pump. A dump and pump. Oh, the lesser spotted dump and pump. We're obviously all very familiar with the old pump and dump, but the dump and pump now, that's it. Really shake, rattle, and roll with that one. Brown trousers, lol, says Paint. Yeah. So the charts over. So yeah, sorry, I was totally kind of this blasé, lazy thinking almost with this one. Whenever Jimmy said that markets were moving, and I was looking at GME going, Yeah, it's hardly moved at all. Well, overall, in that time frame that we're talking about, about the markets, crypto markets, GME did come down and do that. What we're talking about in terms of putting in that low, going to its most extreme point that we were comfortable talking about during that period. You can see that's where this came down, is to where we said, essentially, if it goes beyond that, kind of sucks balls. So that's happened. So now, okay, cool. Can we see it moving up the way? Well, we certainly can. I would actually like to. I hope that it pushed down that extra bit to give it something positive, but of course it's got a longer distance to go. At this stage, probably wouldn't be surprised to see a bearishly divergent top if we did come in at around about 180 and then maybe suffer the rest of the afternoon going back towards that max pain zone of 170 if that's what has to happen, but we'll all be comfortable with it. AMC, yeah, well, it really did do it. It kind of felt what was happening there at the same time, right? Check that out. Really, it's like, oh, markets want to move and express their full range at the minute. There you go. I'll do it too. Well, that results in a lower low than over here. So today's price action so far has put in a low, a high, and a lower low. We don't want that to continue. So it's good then to see that if it does actually go up from here, that we'd have the starts of bullish divergence visible here as well in the RSI. The MACD is, of course, not showing us that. That's fair enough. It is, of course, looking at the moving average convergence divergence, and it's differently constructed than those other two indicators. And while we do have this potential start here, if we don't create another low here, then this will completely unravel straight away in terms of the DMI. It's not got strength of trend there to associate with it to carry it on through right here, right now. GME price action in the similar sort of sense has, it's just like I said, really. That's where we are. Worth is like, hey, Rocky Outcrop, could you look at UVXY? It's had a decent start to the day. 4-hour time frame will show us the this consolidation factor. The lower term time frames, like the 15 minutes, showing us that it's been in a downward trend for the last day, the last 3 days. So this week has been a sort of negative week. Sharper rise up at the start of the week, followed by dropping down there throughout the day, but throughout so far. But then the 15-minute time frame giving us this kind of triangular formation here. Are we going to see this? Are we going to see this? Actually go for a third touch of here, or apex a bit quicker than that? Even it could be good if we get up there and try and bust out the way. It's quite a steep triangle, really, to be looking at. Could it happen? I wonder. This is obviously at the end of that huge downward trend, years and years and years. So you're looking over here at this and saying, well, could this possibly be a bottoming type formation? Just get in there. So kind of class B, so it wasn't like massively in your face bullish divergence on that last low, and it wasn't on the MACD, so it wasn't ideal. This big. I mean, obviously, this is good to see. This could be a turnaround, and it's the sort of thing that could lead to it. But of course, this is the sort of thing that can just completely fail and just continue to go on down the way. It's not like we've not seen this in the past here in these charts, and we didn't get the satisfactory sort of bullish divergence at these lows here either on any of the oscillators down below here. So I would introduce a touch of caution to this one. We know that obviously the prices are dropping down to 443, having been as high as $134 sort of 14 months ago. That just crashed. Has my computer crashed? No, we're still okay. Hopefully still streaming fine. Yeah, so this was up at $135 15 months ago. So everybody and its mother is expecting a turnaround, and every time that this has potentially happened in these zones, it's kind of been of a similar sort of nature, where we had a spike of volatility and then increased, continued downward price action thereafter. So it's come down to lows at around 33, picked up to 90, and then gone on down the way again. Lows $10, picked up to 100, then on down again. Over here, the lows were 40, and they went up to 150 or whatever. So there's opportunity absolutely here. Totally opportunity knocks. Massive amounts of the range on this is pretty big in terms of percentages. Just so you can see it in terms of log chart, these it's tiny candles, big movements for the volatility when it happens, and then of course return into tiny candles again as it just kind of relatively speaking, as it just kind of dumps down the way over a long period of time. So those would be the sorts of the things that I would be looking out for over the next wee while on this one. Big moving up the way, then of course failure to progress, taking out the 21 or taking out some of these moving averages up above the price action is going to be fairly crucial. Can we see any there? Why are they not showing up? Is my computer just being slow? All my indicators are not showing up. Well, that sort of thing. Right, okay, so there we have it. So yeah, we need to take out the 50 simple period moving average on the daily time frame. Do that, move up towards the 200 simple. That's only $12.85, and then you're on for a run up the way. That would be nice to see if we can actually take it out. As you can see over here, prices came down to lows of $10. They went up to $25. They took out that 200 simple and then ran up thereafter. So that's what I'm looking for on this one overall. If we can do it, you can see the spikes that came up before didn't actually manage to properly close out and move, get continuation past the 50 simple. So that's what we're looking to on that one. Is it possible? Yes. There is, in terms of the 24-hour time frame, this RSI, this stochastic, this RSI looks good for a bottom, but in terms of looks good for a bottom, it's a road we've been down before over the last 14-15 months on this one. Going to dive over to take a look at some cryptocurrencies so that we can get a nice handle on the markets, because everything of course is scary stuff out there. Big movements. What we're seeing today for Chainlink, for example, here on this, and this period of pain could continue to last in terms of these movements right up until the 11th of June. A lot of things happening in the world at the start of summer. Traditionally, by the way, summer months are kind of less for stocks, etc. So it's ideal for retail to really dominate summer if it wants to, when everybody else has taken their eye off the ball, hopefully, because that's what we hope happens every summer. Yeah, the price action today, $32 down as low as $24. Holy smokes again. Wow, what movement today. 20% drop down. Such killer stuff. Please, people, be aware that the volatility is real on these candles that we're seeing. Log chart just here. These candles we're seeing are very large candles. Okay, so the candles we're getting today, still very large candles. Much more risk than you'd maybe like to think. I would like your thoughts on
Pax coin as an investment. It's gold backed.
Paxo Gold, isn't it? It's the one that's got this Paxo Gold. It's not breadcrumbs. Paxo's a stuffing brand in the UK, by the way, isn't it? I think you stuff your turkeys with it. Pax Gold, backed by gold. I couldn't give an authoritative stance on it. Can certainly look at the charts. We'd want it. Actually, you can certainly look at the charts. Just starting off here, if there is a direct correlation with the gold prices, etc., let it be known that we want to see that over the last wee while that Pax Gold has had a good performance. It's really, just because obviously it's still very much going to be exposed to the overall movements in the crypto market. But you can see actually it has been decent enough. It has been decent enough with a good deal more volatility. Is there a direct comparison to be made between this and gold? Was that high that we had in gold and then down the way? That might have been. So that's interesting. Loads of volatility in this one though. Loads. Wait, 185. Is this actually Pax Gold? Pax Gold, Tether US. That high there is 1851. So it's just a more volatile gold that washes out traders more. My initial impression. Don't know how accurate that is. Could be completely wrong, but just another quick comparison here. So you've got less of these extreme movements. I mean, recently the prices came up towards 1900, but Pax Gold went up to $2,000. So is there a way then what we want to do here on this one, Pax Gold USDT? And we want to hit this old compare button. The rarely hit compare button. I don't really like doing this normally. Is it on there? Can't actually tell if that worked or not. I think it did. Everything's going ultra not working. Work for me right there. No, can I not change the scales? It's not letting me change the scales. Okay, just have to live with it. It's coming in like a moving average, so I'll just hide off my moving averages so you can see, but we can like treat it similarly to a moving average, right? Because it isn't a moving average, it's just the price of gold. But the price of gold here is showing you that trading gold sucks in terms of the volatility in comparison to Pax Gold. So is this one, in terms of like, I suppose, gold at the minute could be a decent enough case to be made for a hodl. It could be decent enough that we could have maybe bust out of a channel, although it's hard to tell. You can see here with these extremes on Pax Gold that you could draw a similar channel, kind of wrapping the whole price action up. We are looking for follow through. We need to take out higher highs, and we need to see the prices of this thing moving up a decent amount. I don't know if I said, yeah, we need to see this thing moving up a decent amount. Don't know why this is on percentage though. Regular. That's better. So we need to see this moving up a decent amount to actually start to kind of change the trend. We're very aware of how this is a downward trend with huge peaks that lead on to just more despairing troughs thereafter. So we want to see this kind of push up and get past those areas. Could be very, very interesting. I'd be, if I was trading this, just trading it, then I'd be looking at that and kind of treating it like a VWAP almost in terms of thinking about it. And those would be my thoughts on it. I don't know if that's necessarily going to help you too much, but in terms of just some ideas about how to kind of look at this thing, you're probably looking at it similarly yourself, but could we see this work out for us as being just a little premium on gold? If we trend in below this, does it mean anything, or is it just consistently a premium on gold? Okay, so it just consistently has a premium on gold even when it's going towards the downside. So looking out for opportunities whenever it actually does drop down, relatively speaking, less than the gold price, you're getting those opportunities to push the price up. We're seeing that at the minute, but of course this could be at a turnaround point. So risk management on this one, just really, I don't want to take out that previous low over there, that 1830 level. It's likewise with gold, to be honest with you. Looking at this thing, I don't want to be taking out our previous wick over here at 1850 or so on gold, or whatever. Going back into that zone would suck. Moving up here and consolidating at around about the 50% area seems decent. Can we push up past that? That's what I'm looking for. We need to see it happen. Otherwise, bing, 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 bing. Ignore the pattern in the background, because essentially you're just looking at this and saying, well, it ain't changed until it's changed, although it is, changing. AMC 1244, GME 172.50. Both of them put in the lows where we wanted to see it. Ethereum retraced a little bit. That's not too bad. What about Chainlink? What about Chainlink? All I want to say is that they don't really care about Link. So did we talk about this one already? I don't know. Shockingly moved down the way here, turned it into a doji. Can it turn out to be a mistake? We'd love it to be so. There's hints across the markets of how we could have bullish divergence at the ultra low. This is followed along with what we see on Ethereum, pushed up towards the highs. Of course, this then wasn't able to take out that significant area. All of these lines, by the way, that are drawn on here were drawn on back when the prices were. I've just left them on. It's not really my style. I do leave old stuff on the chart. It's not really my style, but they're all drawn on. I'm not too sure. Somewhere in around about this zone is where we drew on all of that. Actually seeing that's between that high and that low. So it's back in September. I don't know when we drew all it. Right. I don't know. Somewhere. I don't think it was back as far as months and months and months ago, but certainly a lot of the stuff on this chart's been here for quite a while, and I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head where these Fibonacci levels that I've got drawn in horizontally are showing up from. Full disclosure, I'd have to work it out, but I trust myself. And so I've got, so on that basis, I don't actually know what numbers these are, but you can see that they've actually, more or less kind of given us a good indication as to the current support and resistance here. Lovely. The pitchfork in the background equally also doing a good job with its ultimate low. How low did it get in terms of our pitchfork, by the way? How low did it actually go? How low did it go? almost to the very bottom of the pitchfork. So you can see then that was drawn in September 2020. So the price action really has been respecting the TA on this one for what, 6 months now, even though we've had market crashes, black swan events, and various crypto bans coming in from China, etc. Decent enough to see. If we can see the prices taken out the $30 area, well, if we can see them taking out the $30 area, it's kind of old news at this stage, nothing new. What I actually want to see is them taking out $33. That's a conversation I had many times back over here. Now, of course, this was as a result of having had positive price action for a long enough time, sideways, but at least, whatever. When we came up from the lows of 23 up to 33, etc., that time, we retraced back down to 200 simple and on up again, using, the 200 simple, for example, as an indicator of the trend. So at this point in time, you can see the distinction, the vast distinction between how the trend is. So getting up towards these areas is extremely important, and then maintaining something in the higher 30s up to 40s is extremely important in order to kind of catch the trend change around. We need to actually have our overall, to be able to maintain that trend. We've obviously moved down below the 24, the 1 hour 200 simple period moving average. On the 24-hour time frame, you can see that we've moved down below it too, but it's actually residing at that 33 level. So you can see in terms of like the short term, that's important, and in terms of the longer term and the daily, it's crucial to take out that 33 area, 34, 35. So that's a real sort of target. Now, in terms of the downside, it's actually, the wick today is really showing us, because it has been horrifying. It's actually taking that out and closing below where we had that wick go down at today. So closing below $25 is really bad. Okay. Well, I mean, it's really bad if we then don't take out 35 really quickly with gusto, okay? And this isn't like massively bullishly divergent and all these other reasons. Closing down there and then not taking out our high at 30 and trending down the way, that's when it's like really bad. But step one for really bad is close below $25, right? That's step one. Right, Tezos, XTZ, USDT, and I'll go back over to the other charts and stuff in a wee bit as well. Same story. Okay, great, sound fine. All more or less summed up with the Tezos, the Chainlink TA. In many ways, you could say that we've done what would have been anticipatable with regards to patterns, and then their associated playouts, and then of course with the horizontal support and resistance, all check, and the 50% Fibonacci Dow theory area that we've come back in for. It's just like everything is lining up like a row of ducks. But we need to start shooting them now, right? Or else we become the ducks. Okay, so we don't want to be sitting ducks, unaware of the significance of dropping down below sort of $3.30, for example. At 360, we're doing okay. Obviously, it sucks a lot because the prices were 440, for example, yesterday, and this is again 20% retraces, like one day moving up, one day moving down, huge stuff happening. So try to stay nimble out there, folks. If we take out the 450 area, things start to look a lot better. It's kind of like $33 or $34 on Chainlink would be to take out the sort of 460s, I suppose, on Tezos. $25 in Chainlink is like closing down below sort of 320, 310, that sort of thing. So that's where we are with the markets right now. And well, yeah, that's where we are with the markets right now. Let's jump back over to the multi-screen. How long have we been at this? An hour and 32 minutes. Oh my God, time's fun when you're having flies. Am I right? You pick their wings off and just gobble them all up. So we have this going along as we hoped. Want to see it taken out the 177 area, because 177 is that gap, and what that means is we actually want to see the prices manage to go up there and slam dunk in there at $180. If they then need to pull back from that point of view overall, that's fine. And the days set up, with the fact that this pulled so low, we can get yet another higher low in if we come all the way back down to sort of 172. Overall, that wouldn't be too bad to do, because it lends to the possibility of continuing without divergence overall. With it being quite pushing the bounds of it, it's like really, because it's like doing the painting by numbers in terms of it's really, you know, if there's going to be a wedge, etc., where you often see divergence appearing down below. One of the rocky outcrop things is that you'll always see like if you see divergence on the MACD, find the wedge on the chart. That's a bit advanced for a lot of new traders, but whatever. But as you can see here, this thing doesn't want to be a wedge, right? You know, it's like pushing it a lot, so it's kind of preventing that from happening. So like that gives you that sort of hope that you can continue up the way overall. But I'm not going to get like too buying into it overall, because we know about the significance of those areas above and what we're trying to achieve here. Really kind of, I'm worried for crypto, right? I'm worried for crypto overall. I think it's right to be worried for crypto. The opportunity is screaming at us, but you know, I think it's fair enough. It's right to be, you know, overall with a somewhat lackluster start to the day overall for us with AMC here. It doesn't leave me feeling worried, like, because you can see there's a vast difference between what's going on with regards to the auto button just not working. Oh, because it's got gold on there still, does it? Whoops. The you know, it's not super fantastic, but the difference between being worried about this and what we're seeing it on crypto, for example, is vastly different. Okay, so you know, for instance, if the prices drop down on AMC down to $11 or $10.70, I'm nowhere near as worried about AMC as I am about crypto at that stage. You know, just so you know, like what we've just seen in terms of well, whatever, in terms of the trend, etc., everything's going fine here. This would be ideal place to be able to kind of, you know, push up from. I want to see it happen. I think there's a very good chance of it happening. There's technical reasons for it happening, and that would be good. But you know, I can't predict the future in that sense, so we're kind of waiting to see how it plays out. And volatility is here. It is here. You know, it's here for us, and it's not gone away, and it's not just kind of slowly moving one direction. You don't have to trade everything through. You can do both. I hodl some things, I trade others, says Jay Williams. There you go. There's some you don't have to do everything at all. I do recommend to people, if they're going to trade something, to trade it though, as opposed to not trading it. That doesn't mean a lot to everybody, but it's a quote from The Way of the Turtle. Stanley Knife, I sold my Tezos at 7 from 222. When should I buy in again? Stanley, I'm not going to take credit for your decisions in any way whatsoever at all, but you do know that you'll get those sorts of calls here on this channel. I'm really happy for you, Stanley, man. Like, that was pretty decent, wasn't it? That whole run there. And then it was also pretty decent knowing at around about 7 about how there could have been that weakness and what would have meant for Tezos. So, like, I have to say, well done to you. You traded up very well, and I'm proud of you. When would be the next best buy? Well, I mean, if it's not now, we'll know about it fairly soon. Are you wanting to eat 10% on it? Because you can, and then you'd be in, because that's your risk, and your reward would be obviously greater than I mean, you're 10, the risk is going to be around about 10 to 15, 20%, something like that, in terms of what we're talking about, because the true range on these things is huge, right? But then the upside potential is going to be more than 50. So you're going to get a 5-to-1 on here if it's going to start from here, and if it isn't, then it isn't. But what can I say? That was me talking in terms of just the simple sort of, where's your best entry? Couldn't necessarily tell you, because that Black Swan style event has done. I mean, it's like back in March, right? We were set up to have big turnaround. March 2020, the economy, everything was due for a pullback. Anyway, COVID couldn't have come along at a better time in so many ways, although a lot of people could pillory me for saying that. But we actually had 10 years of negative price action in the traditional world happen to us in the space of like 4 weeks or 8 weeks. So it got a lot of stuff out of the way, and in the same sort of a sense, we've seen that kind of happen again here with crypto right now. So incredibly deep rocking price action that it's got a lot of negativity that would have been in there out of the way very, very quickly. Now, whether or not it's able to recover from here is the next question, but to say, is it done a heck of a lot, and potentially even enough? Yeah, you could make that argument. There's more to give, plenty more to give. There's always more to give, but I would say that this is that that if things move down a little bit, then people are going to be looking to short the thing, short. So like, we don't want to see that start. We don't want to have that like psychology return to the large accounts in the world that are controlling interests. Also, by the way, this is the perfect time. Last year, around about the drop, it preempted what would have been a typical market share play by the mining companies. So from a macroeconomic point of view, in terms not macroeconomic, but certainly from a broader point of view, looking at the markets right now and how they're primed, China putting out news about banning crypto would be the perfect opportunities in all in that to actually go ahead and do that market capture play. The way that it works is that you actually flood the market with supply. You don't flood it necessarily, you just have to kind of tip the scales. It's quite simple, really. So you just kind of increase supply a little bit. That means that market capture the miners start to capture market share because it changes the dynamic in terms of the price compared to the hash power. So the perfect setup for it is to close down your own mining machines for a wee while. The hash power has a delayed effect, so it takes the average of the last couple of weeks. So what you do is you say, "Oh no, we've got floods here," and you just turn it off. And who cares if there actually is a flood? Better if there isn't, right? Then what you do is you say to the government, what we need to do is change the fundamental sort of landscape of crypto at the minute by telling people that we're going to ban crypto. You don't actually need to ban it, because they can't, right? It's actually impossible for them to do that. But you say that, and it works, and in many instances you do effectively ban it, right? Because it's the same thing as like any other sort of thing that they try. How do you police that? Well, you can to an extent, for sure. So they do it to that extent, and then with those two things combined, so a delay in the hash power that creates a sense of this incorrect way of being able to establish where we are, and then the drop in the price of crypto, and then you hammer the supply of it, so you ditch out tons, you deliberately tank the market, and then it crushes out all of these miners as you ratchet up your own hash power, having not actually been flooded out and damaged, but just turned your machines off for a week. So then there's a knock-on delay. So then you have a 2-week period where people are mining, thinking they're making money, etc., and actually, like they're telling themselves they are, but they're not seeing it on paper, and then they realize no, they're not, etc. That sort of thing, and then it trickles down the way, and that would be the perfect play, okay, at the minute. And if you wanted to do that, push the prices down of Bitcoin to 10K, fill in the CME gap, and do everything, it would be exactly as we anticipated having happened a year ago. And well, you're going to have people doing PhDs on why this happened in 4 years' time and explaining it to people. We don't need a PhD, right? Cool, nice one. So that would be that, right? So that's what we don't want to see happen. So what we're looking for is, of course, to make it so that those conditions to do that are not ideal. And I mean, the miners make money just by the price of Bitcoin going up. So you'd want to see that continue. Bam, bam, and back on track. How you guys? How you going, guys? Going really good, Peter. Thanks so much. Let's do this. Norwegian phrases. All right, everybody, welcome to the Norwegian phrases class for everybody. We've got a few phrases here. These are typical ones. Ja, that means yes. I'm learning here at the same time. Nej, that means no. Var så snill means please. Tack means thank you. Var så god means you're welcome. Undskyld means excuse me. Beklager means I'm sorry.
Bam. And back on track. How you going, guys?
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm saying this in any way right. But actually, no, what's way more fun is Google Translate. Google Translate, right? So thanks, Peter. Peter, I really appreciate the donation. I hope you are having a good day and enjoy the weekend. Okay, here we go. Let's translate this stuff up. Let's get the Norwegian on the go, people. We're learning here super fast. Right, Peter. Tack, Peter. Just setter står pris på donationen. Jeg håper du har en god dag og koser deg med helgen. I have no idea. Let's see what it sounds like.
Takk Peter, jeg setter stor pris.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Fantastic. So really appreciated, buddy. Really appreciate it. I am Dutch. Oh shit, that's right. Sorry, but you're Dutch, but you're pretending. You're pretending with your. Oh, let's do this in Dutch then. You're pretending with your Norwegian currency, pulling the wool over all of our eyes, man. Pulling the wool, making us think that you're Norwegian when you aren't. Where was that South Park with all the trolls? Were they all Norwegians that did the troll thing and stuff like that? Was that what that was? Anyway, we'll go with that was some good stuff. I liked it. What was it called? Bilbo Mc something? I don't remember. Anyway, so we're going with Dutch this time. This will be a bit more funny. So, alright, cheers, Peter. That's great. Hope you can understand this time. Hope you can understand this. What? Okay, rock. Okay, let's do that. Okay, sweet. So what we're going for here this time, though, is of course Dutch. Dutch. Proest Pieter, dat is geweldig. Ik hoop dat je het deze keer... right. Ik hoop dat je het deze keer kunt. Begrijpen. Racket, volley man. How does he say it?
Proost Peter, dat is
Peter.
geweldig.
Proost Peter, dat is...
Proost Peter, dat is geweldig.
Yeah, I'm trying... rocket in Dutch is racket, volley man. Let's get rid of the... I can say Proost Peter, that is, but I'll get rid of that part. Rocket. Right, so that's... let's just say this.
Proost Peter, rocket, volle maan.
Okay, yeah. Proost Peter, rocket, volley man. Nice try, my man, says Peter. Yeah, there's no point, you can't have a language off with a Dutch person. There's no point in even starting that. It's like, oh, that's so good. Your Dutch is very funny. Thanks so much. Just take a seat here and listen to me speak 15 languages or whatever. Yes, I do. I also speak German. Yes, haha. Yes, of course I do. Everyone. And what? Yeah, and yes, and Yiddish, yes, and Flemish, yes, I speak all of those languages, all of those languages. And we have a better football team than you. Twin Peaks vibes. Yeah, wait, Twin Peaks vibes? No, that was yesterday's episode. Ever look into HNT? Helium. Yeah, I did. I saw somebody else talking to me. They sent me some email asking me to promote their stuff on the channel, and they're all like, yeah, we're so great. We've invented the first ever one of these things. It's the first ever one. It's the first ever one. It's the first ever one. I was like, that's amazing. It's just like the one that Helium invented a couple of years ago. Really similar, in fact. In fact, and they called it the first ever one at the time. Yeah, anyway, just before we do that, because I'm going to forget, there's a token that somebody's been asking me to take a look at called SHIB, right? SHIB USDT. And I keep forgetting. It's been like a week. So obviously, they asked me to take a look at it back when the prices were here. They're here now. Different times. It's the same story as everything else. In fact, though, this one here has just got, this one here is done really, wait a minute, 15-minute time frame. Oh, yeah. It just dropped down 24-hour time frame. I can't really tell you an awful lot about this one. I mean, we're looking for the markets themselves to sort it out. A rising tide will lift all ships. This one here's dropped down. It's not like Pax Gold in the sense that it's got anything different about it. There was that white box background thing. If you're looking for that to be fulfilled, well, more or less wasn't it here? And there's push back up. So all we really have is a really negative trend on this one. There was a start and then a start which was positive and then very much just negative thereafter on that front. So somebody asked me to take a look at, went to school in Ireland. You are way more bilingual than NA. Haha. No, hold on a second. You're right. I did, but hold on. I'm not. I don't speak Irish. I don't speak Irish because I gave it up. That's right. I did it for 3 years in school. I learned Irish for 3 years, and then at the end of it, I was all like, Yeah, well, yeah, it's like at the end of it, I was all like, "Oh God, I can't remember how you say anything in Irish." Google Translate, quick, Google Translate. What was it like at the end of it? See ya. Irish, come here, Irish. So at the end of it, I was all like, "Feck." That seems about right. That seems about right. That's probably more or less what I was talking about at the time, of course, as well. I know that this is that H makes that C silent, so I didn't say that. Anyway, worth as soon as volume spikes, we're going to be rocking. Yeah, that's not a huge. That's not a dump. I see you've played Dumpy before. Icelandic is a beautiful language. Rocky, our Jesus Viking, lol. I'm less Jesus than I was at the start of the show. I had my hair down then, but I'm back in the up hair thing. Somebody asked me to take a look at something. It was a series of letters now, so I've forgotten that. It was like, ever look into HNT, they said. That's right. HNT, hormone replacement therapy. HNT USDT. How much are your hormones? Oh, getting some good price on hormones. This one here is not suffered so bad as the other one suffered during that suffering, right? During the suffering period. Look at that in terms of its rise up, though. I mean, yeah. Let's put things into context. It's not suffered so bad compared to the ones during its suffering period, but then again, it has, because it had a 60% drop. It's just like, hey guys, hey crypto markets, don't get so high and then drop and leave me alone. So it was like, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll push the prices right up here so I can have climbed up. So I'll just push the prices up 25% so that whenever I dump, I also get to dump 60%. It didn't want to be left outside in the cold. Fair enough. What are we looking at? Downward trend, bullish divergence, huge up the way move there. Obviously, we don't have hidden bearish divergence in the sense that this is not higher and the RSI is not higher, or the RSI, the oscillators are not higher. There is the bearish convergence on the MACD down below, as you'd expect. What with this huge wick up and down that price action, because the moving averages, moved. In fact, wait a minute though, the moving averages are calculated based off of closing prices. So yeah, that's why it is convergent, because it doesn't include those wicks. Had that the wrong way around there. Sods buzz. Anyway, downward price action, downward trend, everything looking shite, but there is the potential for this bullish divergence, the stochastics and all that, to be lovely jubbly, carry us towards the top side thereafter. Obviously, it's been a largely upward trend, although for the last month or two it's been sideways. We are putting in overall, we didn't close lower than these bodies, so high, a low, lower high, higher low, and it's kind of sideways consolidation. So at the minute, safest plays are to trade the range. I'm not massively enthusiastic about this one because of the overall market dynamics, but there is a range here. There is a chance of recovery. We want to be seeing it taking out $17. We're at 15 at the minute. If you've got the patience to wait for 20% move or 10% move in price, or really just going back up to where our highs were today plus an extra buck, if you want to think about it like that sense, go back up to $16.80. Great, get some movement up there. Then you can kind of play this as a trend, perhaps. I mean, you might even actually have to sit through a whole bunch of pullback afterwards, but really what I want to see is us taking out our previous high and actually getting a higher high in. It's funny this. I mean, these are I feel compelled to give out the best answers, which will probably result in you making a lot of money. And it's like, yeah, the market conditions are awful. And instead of me saying, man, I can't give you answers on anything right now like this. What the fuck? Everything's going crazy. I'm all like, yeah, bro, let's just do this. Let's just make loads of money while the rest of the world loses money. Hand over fist. Yeah, you can. You can still use technical analysis. You can still absolutely make money in this thing. It's all good. It's all good. Wait a minute. We got a request. Is this Russian? Do you want me to speak Russian? Is that what this is? I just see that coming in from Mike earlier on. I wonder. What have we got here? I'm saying M too much. Stop, says Peter earlier on. Was that you doing a Heineken joke, Peter? Was that you doing a Heineken joke earlier on? Let me know. I want to know. Stop! This beer is not ready yet. At Heineken, we brew our beer on a shite for that hoppy flavor. Juro, what about the extent of my Norwegian? That's about the extent of my Norwegian. Yeah. Great. Yeah, because my Norwegian before today was tak. Because and a couple other things from that the bridge show, like the Bron, because that's the name of the show. Peter says, nice try. Yeah, we got through that. Twin Peaks vibes. Jay Williams, ever look into helium? Yeah, I just did. Never look into helium. Yeah, I just did. Oh wow, it also had a nice rise up during the bull market per crypto, but didn't really manage to get any follow through since April. It's been ranging ever since. We did have a massive amount of money changing hands during the crash down the way. That's like one of these open interest swap overs where a lot of people who were like, really hoping for something to happen, but got kind of put to the sword by time going by, had all of their accounts passed over to somebody else who's now able to make profit from it. What we want to see happen therefore is something similar to when we had one of these last events happen back there in April 16th, where we rose up afterwards. But of course, no guarantees, and we're hoping for that. Don't take out our previous lows, looking pretty good. Take out our highs. We're on for a trend. Might get a pullback, get a better entry at that point. Let's see how it goes. At the minute, would I trade it? Yeah, I would, but I wouldn't recommend anybody at home trades it because it's dangerous out there. So we're looking at Hawaiian and bad. Wait a minute, you can. Those bloody well better not be languages that you can speak. Can you actually speak those languages, Peter? It's ridiculous. Bloody Dutch people speaking all these languages. Where do they get off, eh? Where do they have the time to learn the languages? Where do you have time? You should be out there. I don't know. What do we do in Scotland when you guys are learning languages? You should be out there standing around in the rain, yeah, like a real man. How this low volume on GME is driving me crazy. How slow everything moves, lol. Yeah, it's just, yeah. You don't want this though, man, right? You don't want crazy 60% move. You don't want this is a 4-hour time frame. So in the space of an 8-hour period, the prices went up 25% and then dropped 60%. You don't really want that to happen over the period of 8 hours. Nevertheless, I understand your frustration with things taking a while. This pulling down from here, is it going to do that? It is, isn't it? It's going to do this and leave us wondering where are we going to stand for a couple of hours, maybe. So if this, I was going to draw a triangle around the end there. If the prices drop back down to these lows again, it's like it's bloody tightening triangle stuff. I don't want to see that. Ain't got no time for that. But maybe I was a little bit too positive about the extent at which it dropped down. I don't know. We'll just hope and see. We don't even know what we're doing here. We're just monkeys. Everybody. That's all we are. Let's get the AMC chart up again. Staying above 1220 is all right for the common ape, right? At the minute, the common ape is also happy seeing the prices dropping down to 1064. But if they don't and they go up towards the top side, then they're even happier. And the bananas start getting peeled at 1281. And that's good, and we're still looking on the way. The broad term time frames, it's important, to be aware of the significance of these zones. And if you of course watch Andrew Mo Money, then you know all about how this is the 618. This is the 61.8. This is 61.8. I have to do this a lot. Andrew Mo Money does this. At least he did it in 4 times in the space of the 3 minutes of his videos that I've ever watched. By the way, today was the very first time I ever watched Andrew Mo Money. So I've seen him kind of in the background, if you like, but I never watch him. I don't know. I actually think he's probably quite a nice guy. Funny story. I've turned Scot. I'm listening to Rocky and Jamie so much. Don't leave my house except Fridays and when yelling at drivers. And he use words like wanker and fucker yelling at drivers. Nice one, Queen Bee. I'd love to see that happening. I was in New York walking down the street one time. American drivers are something special sometimes. I was walking down the street in New York one time, and there was somebody waiting behind somebody else at a traffic light, and it wasn't to turn right, it was turn left, and it was a red traffic light, and they were in a convertible, It looked like an old school car. It wasn't like old enough, cool enough to be like from Cuba. Like it wasn't an old Caddy, but it certainly wasn't modern, and it was a convertible. And they were sat in there, and they were beeping constantly, going, "Get the fuck out of the way!" And the person in front shouting over their windscreen at them, "Move, you moron! Hurry up!" And that all the time, right? And then the lights did eventually turn green. And then when I was just thinking, is that how they go about their day? Is that how they live their life constantly? Amazing. I kind of imagine you doing that. Get the fuck out of the way, you fucking wanker. Anyway, so that's enough swearing. I actually made my road rage clearer dialect. It really used to. Jeff Smith says Rocket Corrupt options players are looking at 140 dip on Monday due to FTD cycles. Not my TA take with a grain of salt. Yeah, no, Jeff. Yeah, could easily be that you see that sort of thing happen. Could easily see that you see that sort of thing happen on the GME, GameStop Corporation. It could happen. We've got this whole zone scoped out here. This is the zone that we're in, and we're in this. Right, okay, I know this might sound overly simplified, but really just let me kind of simplify this for you. This red zone at the bottom is the zone that we're in, and we're in this zone until we ain't in it anymore, right? Right? That is shorthand for really everything that needs to be said about the price action here with this one at the minute. You know, this is where we are until we ain't. We can see that we've had to come down here a few times. It would be lovely to see if we get a buy in there. I mean, we all want that. No, we don't all want that. It would be nice to see it happen in terms of like, you know, pick up a few more shares. What would be nicer to see happen would be just kind of to just keep going up the way from here. Sure, that would just be more ideal, but if it's going to do that, then it's a buying opportunity. It actually only becomes like not a buying opportunity when the prices have really crushed down a lot lower. I mean, we already know as well, like Jimmy was saying yesterday as well, you could see the prices going down to 69 and survive. It's all good, you know, it could happen. It could happen. But if they do, you know, 164 is a buy. Yeah, 164, but they could go down to 140. Sure, they could happen, and that would be a buy. Because if it was an options play, due to the FTD cycles, like Jeff Smith was saying there, then yeah, fine. You know, it's not really like the conditions can change after. Right. YFF says Albuquerque. Given a couple of lessons out there. I feel like I've sworn too much, but I really want to say that sort of stuff as well. Yeah, that's a classic trade spotting one, that, isn't it? It's classic trade spotting now already. Yeah, fucking Fanny. It's classic. Oh, so good. You know the advert as well, by the way, now that you know that swear word. This is an advert for a popular drink we have in Scotland here called IRN BRU. We all drink it all the time. I've got a bottle of it sat right there. It is, of course, made from girders. It's not actually made from girders, but that's what we like to say. It's actually based, by the way, this IRN BRU thing is based on a drink that used to be sold by apothecaries round there on beside Edinburgh University. Genuinely, in order to help people who are anemic, it's got that's the origins of it, and it's a genuine thing. And they used to call it IRN BRU, and it was a real thing. That's what that's all based on. A lot of people don't know that. Of course, that place there, Edinburgh University was at the forefront of that Enlightenment and everything else. And what you had was a series of shops, essentially, that were like barbers places, you know, surgeons and physicians. And this was back before there was such a thing as a surgeon or a physician, etc. Well, at least in terms of what we know about them nowadays, lining that street there. And in between them, they'd have other little things like apothecaries, etc., which is why you've still got Napier's over there at the minute. Incidentally, as well, if you're interested, it was massive digression. Just give people 5 seconds of GME so we can, like, oh, look at this GME 173, excellent, and we can see here that AMC is AMCs, so we don't all like tune out or whatever. AMC, look, AMC price here, for instance, is 1233, and we can see here that the Bitcoin price, Bitcoin USDT. So you can see the Bitcoin price here is currently 37,637. So it's still struggling to get back above that 38k, you know, but we're not currently crashing down by 35. Anyway, incidentally, the back in the day, Scotland was the place that invented hospitals, right? And people don't necessarily know this. Now, of course, that's obviously disputable, but let's go with it, okay? Because there was this culture in Scotland back then where anything that kind of was hospitality. And I don't mean like meeting and greeting somebody at the entrance to a restaurant or a hotel. I mean, you know, any sort of like hospitality, one human to the other, was called a hospital, okay, back in the day. So we have a street here in Edinburgh that runs up to where the old Royal Infirmary building resides, still is, it'll always be there, called Hospital Row, right, and Hospital Street. And of course, there's a school there, George Heriot's school is there, and it is on Hospital Row as well, and it was a hospital, okay, back in the day, and opposite it was a hospital, and that's where the word, you know, comes from for hospital. It's these things, that's what they were. It's only in modern day that you think about them not being a hospital. Anyway, there you go. There's a story of hospitals, which is the scenario that these guys are in, and the story of IRN BRU, so you can then put that into context with what Alba Gruba was saying, and me and Jamie, me laughing about what Jamie likes to say, one of Jamie's favourite swear words.
So, what are we going to call her?
Fanny. I want to call her Fanny.
We can't call her Fanny. Fanny.
Fanny?
I like it. It's unusual, unique.
My mum's a Fanny. Granny was a Fanny. She'll be joining a long line of Fannies.
Aye, it's good to keep up tradition.
Oh, Fanny, you're just like your daddy.
Bunch of Fannies. Yeah, that's where we are right now. Right, sound. So, how far into this stream are we? 2 hours and 5 minutes would probably wrap it up just now. Okay, so the recovery that we see in Bitcoin, for example, here was forming a wedge formation. We spoke about this yesterday, and it still remains the case. We don't want to see this be a bear flag, okay? This would be the downward movement, this little wedge type thing, of course, with its breakout so far, carrying us down towards the 37k area. This, of course, could be a bear flag. That would signal the continuation, you know, where you just see the prices trickling on down the way. Your next targets then, of course, would be 32,000, and then thereafter 25,000. There's a chance of a bounce in around about 30,000 with a round number, and 29k where we have a different sort of level there as well in the past. This wedge could have, of course, broken towards the top side. You know, it could have. Statistical chance of it happening is less likely, compounded by the fact, of course, that the prior trend running up to this point was a down one, a downward direction one. At the minute, the best case scenario that I can really say to people is that, of course, that a failed wedge becomes a channel, or sort of a wedge that only does the textbook move where you get 60% more often than not turns into a channel, and that's where we have it right now. And that then, unfortunately, as well, just kind of continues the bear flag case scenario until such times as, of course, it doesn't. And when we start to say it doesn't is at 42k, and then if this does indeed remain as a channel and we go up and test the top side of it and get any sort of touches around 44, 45, wonderful stuff, especially if then the subsequent lows thereafter can maintain the 40k area. Is it right for me to be saying anything that's particularly positive about this right now? Well, sure, you know, we didn't completely die today so far. That's really where we stand with that one. And that's just, you know, fine, because we've actually got the potential to actually turn that around there, because it's not been taken away from us. Equally over here on Ethereum, you know, we're seeing again the same sort of shocking movements. Now, the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin being that, of course, when we got those lows, we then got further lows as well with Ethereum in terms of our body closures. Instead of having, like we saw in Bitcoin, where it came down, V-shaped recovery, and then a subsequent close of its body was significantly higher than the previous body close. Not like that in Ethereum, and we're seeing that across most of the altcoins really at the minute. The benefits being, though, that you can then say, well, between these body closures at the lows, there's, of course, bullish divergence. That led to resurgence in price, but we weren't able to take out the significant areas up above, and subsequently we've come back down to retest. In fact, going in for a really solid retrace back down the way with the bodies right now on Ethereum coming in at around about that 2,450-ish level, and that, of course, then is the 618 golden pocket since our recovery. So it's at this stage that things turn around and start to look more positive, or they don't, but that's the context for it. Moving back up above 45 or 2,550 is like, you know, your first port of call, but it's, you know, well, it's enough to stop you from feeling like you're peeing your pants and maybe to stop seeking out your brown trousers immediately in the here and now. It certainly doesn't mean that you actually just get to start like relaxing and drinking pina coladas. If you like drinking pina coladas though, and of course, what's the next line? If you like drinking pina coladas, getting drunk in the rain. I mean, is that even it? No, dancing in the rain, getting caught in the rain. Bam, bam, bam. So if you actually like drinking pina coladas, you don't want to be caught in the rain, and that means that you need to see the prices going past 2,900, hopefully up towards the 3,000 and round number 3,000 area, or else, of course, failure to do so means that you have been caught in the rain. Boom. There's plenty of other things that we could look at here, so let's just jump on over to GameStop Corporation and take a look. Now, today's price action with GameStop has been just more or less as we've wanted to see. The common ape is more or less happy. Bigger pattern there, running up towards the 180s was a wedge, of course, which then broke down the way, rejection at the 618 pocket. We haven't made it into that upper box, that green box at the top. That's going to be the next phase of price action should we bust up the way. Until such times as we do that, we're within this zone overall here. You've got another wedge that came towards the downside, giving you that 164 buy price before we then broke it towards the top side, doing the measured move, unable to take out our previous highs. We've not got a trend to move quite as yet on here on this one. However, it's at early days on this. You know, closing out the week at this stage is decent enough here. The common ape is happy to see it close out at above 170. But of course, what we really want to see happening is the prices moving into this phase where you could be between the sort of 190s and 210 zone. That's your next kind of range that you could be in. Rejected from it, of course, the last time we were there, having dropped back down the way here, putting in what could conceivably like that type of cup with handle idea. Now, it isn't a textbook. It doesn't work in terms of like what your man William O'Neill, the guy that invented the cup with handle pattern, struggled, got there in the end. It wasn't as good as, you know, as that, but in terms of having had a 50% retrace after a movement up the way with the potential to carry on up and just continue the trend on, well, that fits together, and I suppose that haunts you more of the sounds of Dow theory past than perhaps Williams O'Neill's cup with handle in this phase. I would just more or less look for this one to get that continuation, but I'm not massively in a hurry to do so. And if it does drop down to 143 and all the rest of it, then I'm happy to buy it, but 164 is the current buy in the meantime. Really, that's kind of where we stand with it. AMC has done pretty darn good today, really, overall, in the sense that we haven't completely and absolutely shat the bed, right? That's what we're looking for in this one, is to maintain a clean bed setup with as minimal amounts of pooping in there as possible. So here on the 15-minute time frame, just to kind of bring in the story a bit clearer, we can see that we moved up towards the top end, came in at the top of this price range today in the price action at 280. That's our upper side resistance. Drop back down to 220. Of course, that's our next best buy. There was somebody in the chit chat earlier on was talking about how they wanted to see the prices come down to here so that they could buy. I hope they didn't FOMO in earlier on, because this was the natural evolution of the battle for 1250 Hill. It's what we're calling it on the show at the minute. Now, of course, you know, really the tug of war swings back towards the middle here, sort of in balance at around 1250, 1280 being that resistance. If we do break down the way, not overly massively concerned about that. Okay, overall, there are targets towards the downside. You know, we have this knot in here. We talked about knots on the channel yesterday. Check out yesterday's live stream if you want more information on that. Plenty of good stuff. Now, we've actually come down to that, and we fulfilled that idea already. However, if we did want to kind of push on down towards the lower end of it, you could be looking towards the 1160 area. I myself would be looking down towards 1069, I suppose, really, if we do crack on down here for like great rebuy entries, should we get a nice little bit of a sort of turnaround, you know, sort of TA telling us that we're going to get a turnaround here. In the meantime, however, really, I am just looking for the ideal scenario for this to just turn around at this point. There could be various different ways of looking at it. You know, a couple of bearishly bullishly divergent lows, running into higher lows overall. Does give you that general impression of sort of the head and shoulders type idea. It doesn't really matter what way you look at it. 1280 is key. We could be going up then thereafter. Where I want to see the prices jumping up to is, of course, 1489 to 1550. But of course, you know, I'm happy enough to be aware of the fact that at 1360 there is, of course, another level of resistance for us. I have to say thank you so much for that guy with the kendama, who has been a member for 2 months in a row exactly as of this moment there now. That's what that dingle was, just giving me a little reminder. Thank you to you, and thank you to everybody else that supports this channel. Massively appreciate it. Any amount of likes on this video actually goes a long way. I look at it and I think to myself, wow, you know, wow. So if you want me to have that wow feeling, it's just for me. It's not to convince hedge funds that the stuff we're talking about is real, like Andrew Mo Money would say. It's just for me. If you want me to know that you like the content, I really genuinely appreciate it. Moving on here, because we've done a couple of cryptocurrencies and we've also done USD, sort of a couple of big stocks in the old American markets. You're talking GameStop, which is on the New York Stock Exchange, and of course AMC, which is listed on the NASDAQ. Taking a look at XTZ here, which is listed in the crypto land world, and we can see that we dropped right back down to our 50% area. That's what that white line is. It's a 50% Fibonacci tool, and of course that's kind of the Dow theory point here, and we've managed to make it down there. This is of course the resolution of a larger pattern, which was a wedge, which did break towards the downside here on the charts. Well, no, don't follow that arrow with your eyes. That was a mistake. Sorry. Here on the charts. Woof. Let me just, can we do it? Can anything happen? Is it going to be convenient? Am I going to look like a fool? No, we're doing good here. So we had this wedge drop down, did the full measure move, got all of our levels laid out for us, and today's price action, the range has been so crazy strong. It's been up at 440s, where of course our topside resistance is, and it's been down at 350s, where of course our support is, you know, is expressed in the full range at the minute. Obviously, I want to see this going up the way. I'd be a fool to not, you know, just to pretend that there isn't this extreme volatility in the true range at the minute is, of course, ridiculous. Trading this thing with 10x, almost certainly, and like all things in crypto right now at the minute, would result in wipeouts if you were not taking profits early. Looking for a trend and move, therefore, and you start to say, well, in that sense, when do we start to get positive? Just bear in mind that until we're above 450 here in Tezos, that of course we're, you know, under the cosh a little bit. And when we do go, when we go down the way, so long as we stay above like all the threes, then it's something that I'm happy to see. Looking here then, I guess it's more of this. We can jump into Chainlink and just kind of, you know, remind people that the technical analysis here is more or less the same setup, except we're talking about different numbers, moving exactly between the range again. Top side at 31, 32, we need to take out 33, then we can start to be a bit more positive. The lower side in here at 26. You know, the fact that we didn't actually crash down here and really just kept follow through, super lovely. If we did push down past 21 at the minute, then boyzo, it is really just like, I know that's the last. I mean, if we don't turn around at that point, we're outside the pitchfork and everything else in the background there, and I really don't want to see that. But I want to see the prices taken out 33. I mean, what I'm looking for at the minute is to see if we can get a resurgence at the minute. 24-hour time frame showing you that massive range that we've been on, you know, but you're looking to see, can we get some positivity in here? Can we or not? If you're tuning into the charts later on and we're down a little bit or we're down a little bit more, you know, then those, of course, I mean, like, then, well, what can I say? I mean, those are targets that we could go to. I really don't want to see it happen. You know, I really don't want to see it happen. If, just be aware, like I said with the Tezos chat there, if you're trading this with 10x, you're going to get wiped out. So just be careful, you know, out there in the world. When we move above those price points, things start to get a little bit more interesting. Now there are other things in the world which are a little bit more interesting than perhaps some others. I don't know, maybe not. You know, like we've got this movement today, did crack down the way in KCS here, as we were talking about recently, came up towards its target, but it's at least, you know, it's not gone down and really equaled off the other lows, etc. And other things out there that exist at the minute you might be interested in. DOT, for example, down there at $24. I mean, it's really awful. It's not ideal in any way, but we're doing okay overall here on this one. If we can see a turnaround on that front, then great. If we don't, we goddamn we don't. The zone to be aware of on this is that, you know, $20, like $20 of crackdown. But it's the same story everywhere, right? It's more or less the same story. It's a question of whether or not we came in and equaled our previous lows. The story of the V-shaped recovery, yes, that's the same everywhere. The story of coming back down to have a deep pullback afterwards, you know, to really shake out everybody a second time, that's the same. The story of going up towards our next high and putting that in is pretty much the same everywhere as well, and that's done really well. The story then of coming in and not taking that out the second time, all across the markets. It's what we're seeing between two ranges, or between two zones forming a range. And then, of course, today's price action cracking down the way hasn't taken out those previous lows in there. And until such times as we do it, then I can still say that maybe there's a chance because of things being positive. Because when you jump up to a larger time frame, and you can kind of see that, you know, we're talking low, and then and you know, this is not taking that out quite yet. Although actually looking at this one here and just seeing that there's these wicks and that we're below it currently, this is obviously very, very scary on the whole dot front. Very not good. You know, best buy price $20. You're not buying into strength on that one. Catching up here with the chat then and seeing how everybody's doing. There's 146 people watching just live right now. That's really fantastic. AB Lopez, thank you so much. That can be said about so much. I wonder what you mean, but if you're talking about what I was talking about there just now, yeah, you're right. Totally true. Worth His Life coming in with a bunch of F. Exactly. That's right. That's another really good one. I'm loving seeing your chat in there as always. Apple Blossom and Queen Bee as well. Love seeing you guys in there. Yay! I can't wait to see you all with a buzz. Lol, lol, lol. Apple Blossom's talking to Jeff Smith. That's just self-preservation. He's telling himself whatever he has to feel right about missing the rocket. Haha. So all good stuff there. Nice to see he's chatting away. Now I am going to start to wrap up the show just now. Okay, so let's get any final requests for anything that need to be looked at or discussed or kind of talked through today out of the way just now. We'll bring up the 4 screen charts that we can have, you know, all of our knowledge up here for us. Yes, this is doing exactly as I kind of wanted to draw on, but couldn't really be bothered earlier on. This little triangle that's forming here at the end, giving you sort of like a nice little sort of screw you towards the end of the week in terms of like we're going to just finish off with some more of this consolidation coming in here. Doesn't really matter to us. We're happy to see it above 170. We're happy to buy it at 164, I suppose, or 148, etc. And right now sitting pretty overall. AMC, yeah, I don't want to be a bear flag. I don't want to lose it, because if we do, we're dropping down the way. Bigger time frame shows you quite clearly that this, you know, could very well easily happen. You know, it doesn't take a sort of, you don't need to be a genius on the level of the likes of trades or Andrew Mo Money or any of that to be able to point out that the sort of the 618 Fibonacci point on this one comes in there at about 1228, and there actually is a tiny sliver perhaps of a gap just between there if they wanted to fill it in. So I'm not actually like looking for that or calling for that to happen. I want this to turn around, but if that were to turn into, you know, if that's how that played out, then, you know, that's what you're looking for. Forewarned is forearmed, I suppose. The cryptocurrency market's really, really shocking at the minute. Really shocking stuff, by the way, people. Be very careful out there trading them. Be very, very careful out there trading these things, okay? And by the way, everybody watched yesterday's episode. The chapters in there make it so easy to watch. Could you take a look at GNW, please? And James Rex says VET, and AB Lopez says SPLK. So we're going to go back up. We're going to work AB Lopez first. Whoops. Work from AB Lopez's suggestion first. I really just like seeing DOT below $24 at the minute, by the way. You need to see it go back up above that. So we're going to take a look at what it was, the suggestion again. Yeah, SPLK. Splunk Inc. Oh, gapped up today. Following on from that consolidation, is that going to be the breakout? Well, a refill of that gap, which almost happened, would have been a retest of the breakout. So we've have we done enough or not? I mean, coming in here without having an opinion in advance makes it harder for me to maybe say, you know, what I want to have seen happened with this one. This is decent to have had this so far coming in here and putting in a higher high in terms of the RSI just there. Of course, that could kind of translate to hidden bearish divergence. Okay, so taking out these areas down below $115 makes things a bit scary, because you could be dropping down to 110 or something like that thereafter for a fake out move down the way. I'd watch out for that. But really, at the minute, things are looking okay. The stochastics haven't ticked up over the mutual line pretty good. Gives you a good setup for next week on terms of trading this one. This one is pretty good at the minute. Okay, it's pretty good. Where have we come from though? I mean, it's pretty good at the minute, but we're not there yet. The last region you'd look to would be about this height for this. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm ever taking a Fibonacci retrace from pre-market, post-market. I don't want to be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that, but I'm kind of ticking along here. So if that happened, then this could explain some irregularities, but we can see that the previous high bang on at the 236. Okay, so this is where we are, 2 for 1 in there. Taking out 120 gives you a good play. Looking up towards the 136 area, if we can push past 136, going to be very, very keenly aware of the 147 to 152 area. A couple of Fibonacci numbers in there, the 886 and the 100%. 100% obviously being where our previous peak was. You know, that's where all eyes will be drawn to. But the target for us at the minute is 136. There is a gap that exists in the charts between 140 140 and like 146 or so. So maybe, you know, there'd be flux in there. That'd be where the 786 is. Just kind of looking towards that rough area just to begin with, you know, just roughly in this rough area. That would be nice to see. You could take some of your profit at 132 if you're playing it from 120 up the way, because that of course is a 10% move and there's no harm, no foul in that one for us. Then the next one that somebody asked for was VET. We'll go VET USDT on this one. And really, again, same story, right? Sound, same story, 618 in here at 10 cents. Don't want to be busting past that. Of course, up here above us, our resistance zones start to get really, really positive on this one once it moves past 14 cents. But the fact of the matter is that we're down here, so we have to acknowledge where we are, and that means that if we do actually take out 10 cents, then we're looking at 20% drop-offs, 10% drop-offs in price before you actually are able to really maybe cling on to something, wanting somebody else to be the one that kind of captures that negativity and takes that risk for you. Buying into strength here is not on the table until such times as things are turned around. You're buying in against the weakness. Now, is it fair to think that when we've got these two lows? Well, it is, because our bodies haven't taken out our previous bodies. The wicks didn't take out our previous wicks. You know, nothing here. This is like we've come right down as far as you would want to push the markets to if you were pushing the markets. If you were in control of this situation, that's where you take them to, and then that's where you would stop. So just me thinking, looking at this and thinking, well, how would I do this if I was actually, you know, as part of a team of people operating a really large account to try and force this down here? That's where I'd have been targeting, and that's where the prices have gone. So that's the most positive thing to say about it, because really it's really, really crap that the prices have come down here, and that's what we're saying, right? Because it's crap. So if we can see the prices turning around, then jolly good, that'd be nice. That means we're swimming along next to the big fish. Is it definite? No, it's not. Is it absolutely possible? Yes, it is. Is there an edge to be had here? Yes, there is, but really you don't start to buy into any momentum until we're above 14. Bearing in mind that's 40% up from where we are just now. Then the last one that I saw anybody look at was GNW. This is, of course, Genworth Financial Inc. Everybody, of course, and their mother has some Genworth Financial Inc. shares. If you don't, then you don't know nothing about Genworth. I've never heard of them. So here we have, I don't think I have. Here we have, so similar sort of mindset to what we're looking at in terms of just, you know, the GME idea, in the sense that you got this upward movement just here. Okay, so we've trended up a little bit here, but we're not getting, you know, the real banging move at the end here. You know, so we've got a couple of highs, they're higher than each other. This is actually bearishly divergent though, and then this pullback here, while while it is hidden bullish divergence, is not, you know, this here is tightening up the price action. We're having this set up, it's going quite, you know, it could leave us asking some questions for how we get set up for Monday at the current rate, but overall it is good, right? And there's a trend here, and the trend is still on. It's not off yet. The big pullback that we saw happen in terms of percentages on this was, of course, 20% as well over the last couple of days. So, you know, that's when you get that. So we've had this bearish divergence more or less play out to its required extent for us to just simply continue on the way. It didn't happen in the oversold territory, so yeah, okay, cool. I'm just going to say that this looks like it's pretty decent. It's a decent opportunity, although there's inherent risk here for us. It's maybe not so explicit, but you can see that we've got this high coming up here for us on the stochastics. We kind of, you know, would turn around, or else we're going to come in for some hidden bearish divergence, like one of the two. So it's like, you know, the prices have moved enthusiastically. A bit of a V-shaped recovery on this one as well in that sense, but But if we come back down and test, I mean, like, what have we just spent the last ages talking about with crypto? You know, essentially, if we come back down and retest this area at 385, I would not be surprised at all. You know, just after having seen this movement up the way, it's done very well. Currently, it's taken out our previous high. It's doing what we want to see it doing in typical conditions. If we can close the day out at 418, 420, that's okay. It's right in this gap. I'd prefer to see 420. In fact, yeah, if we can close the day at 420, looking good for positivity, really right on the cusp of that. So doing quite good here, quite good. However, you know, there could easily be discounts coming up here, and the discounts, when they do come up, could be 20% again, or 10, or 20%. So watch out for that, I guess, as well. If we do then bust outside of this, because we've had this big range here, that it means no matter what way you're looking at it, if you're drawing in any sorts of pattern, it's going to be, this would be your measured move. It really comes down to where your breakout would be. But the point here is that the girth of the price action recently has gone from 420 down as low as 320. So you're looking at a buck move. So you could get a buck move somewhere. So if we start to look for that, maybe we get carried up towards 480 or 450, 480, etc. Maybe the prices get carried down to 330, etc. There's a big load of willingness for the prices to move here. I'd prefer to see them move towards the top side. It makes sense. It continues on with this trend that we've had for the last wee while. And it gives us the chance to come in for a higher high or a double top at that point there, where it would be it would be better to see the prices getting rejected from there than from here. So I'd rather see that. So that's good. That's what I'm aiming for on that one. Really, okie dokie. So just scrolling down a wee bit, see if I've missed anything here as well. Have I missed anything? Thanks, Rocky, says AB Lopez. No, you're welcome, man. It's good to have you here. Shane Coombe, yeah, he did a copy paste and didn't notice, most likely, at Rocky Outcrop. Shane Coombe, yeah, he did a copy paste and didn't notice. I just noticed, I see yesterday's video timestamps and description. Oh, yes, sorry, man. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a basic copy paste job. It's just a basic copy paste job. You know how it be. I don't have timestamps for today. I don't know if I'll have the energy to make them. Bye, jingles. I have to say, watch yesterday's episode, by the way. Share it with your friends. Like, honestly, honestly, like, the stuff is too good. I'll just give a quick example now. I know most of you know this already, but just to show you, like, jumping into yesterday's video, I put all these chapters in at the start, and, like, you know, it's, if you want to learn stuff, if you're motivated to learn, there's stuff here to help you do that. Tea time is rocky, so that's cool. Then we talk about market open. These price predictions were accurate. It played out. So everything I talk about here is beautiful learning. Shout outs, that's cool. Market open at GameStop. Again, everything happened exactly as we talked about. So tons of learning. There's an anecdote. So that's transformative knowledge and helpful. You got a V-shaped recovery. We talk about that. We talk about it a couple of times during the show, like there at 11 minutes 45. More examples of it at 19 minutes and 30 seconds. So live examples from cryptocurrency to compound your knowledge there. Should I use market orders during extreme volatility? So we answer a lot of people's questions that they have, you know, for trade and all this sort of stuff. More examples, like about talking about will things recover from the crashes, etc., and how you can maybe be able to figure that out. You got market summary and how to think like a pro trader, you know, so I really do kind of lay it out in terms of like how you would think like a pro trader during that section. We've got me talking about the pattern site and having a laugh, so it's a bit of comic relief. And then I talk about twin peak patterns and educate you. Then I talk about the knot. We'd already talked about Wyckoff distribution, etc., in previous episodes. Then we look back at the live GME updates and, you know, understanding your time frames of trading, the Boolean riddle. So then I explain all about the Boolean riddle, and it's just a bit of fun and education, but actually as well. And I then go on to explain how you use that to verify price action with volume. It's transformative knowledge yet again. It's like, this is extreme 2.0 level stuff. I mean, like the V-shaped recovery thing on its own, you could make a course out of and charge $100 for, or whatever. I don't know. Then the Boolean riddle thing alone, you could do again the same sort of thing, you know, but it's just having fun. Then I surprise myself, lol, and just have a laugh, you know, and chat. It's a bit funny. And then I do the all the use technical analysis and have jokes and and tie everything we talked together about it together, you know, and it's just, it goes on and on and on like that. And I had to give up doing the chapters, you know. This chapter here is only so large because I was so tired doing it. I was only doing them because I was prevented from sleeping outside by the roadworks, you know. So I was like, oh, I'll do this and try and help people out. So that's why that's so big. But I knew I needed to put a couple of extra chapters in, but from towards the end of the show. But I could just keep doing them, you know. I could keep doing them. Today's episode hasn't been as good. Like, okay, it just hasn't been as good, right? I know this myself, but it's just like, or at least I suspect it myself. It's just like, it's not because today's bad though, but because yesterday's was so good, right? So it got a lot of views and all that, and when I say this is so good, I'm really pleased to see that it got those views, etc. Because, like, you know, then another amazing episode to watch doesn't actually have the views on it. Is I'm not going to blow smoke up. You can find them on the channel. There's a good example from the past. Go into the Discord. We'll tell each other about them there. I'm not going to do it on camera anymore. It's enough blowing smoke up my own ass. It's enough of that. Iron Brew gets you through. Great, nice one. AV80. Wow, great timestamps for those in and out of stream. Yeah, it's too much, but I won't be able to do that, I don't think. Rock Outcrop, IDK. That intro was fire. The quality. Today's show. Actually, yeah, with that song, Ronaldo makes everything perfect, right? What a great guy. What a great song. And I'm looking forward to as well to playing Emily's music on Monday when we come back and we're like, yeah, rock and roll. Let's take it to them. Another week of extremely amazing stuff happening. I'm just looking back up the chitter chatter here and seeing all of you wonderful people, you know, all of you so much. It says somebody, Goblin Attorney, you need to employ the ape army. I'm sure you could indenture one of your or more of your fastidious apes to take timestamp notes during the stream. Rocky Outcrop at Tradespawn. You can, right? And AB Lopez is here as an example right now. AB Lopez is a great guy. I feel a little bit like you know, that, you know, he didn't watch all the episodes for over a month or two there, and he's a moderator here in the chat, so you can tell, like, you know, like that you put pressure on people and it makes it hard, you know, and then they not necessarily want to turn up or whatever. So I don't want to do that, but you know how much it would help. Everybody, you know how much it would help. I genuinely, you know, any suggestions of any timestamp, you see it there, you put it in there, I'll add it to the chapters. It'll be freaking excellent and the community can come together. But for me to like put it on somebody, and just so you know, AB, you don't need to, you're welcome back anytime. Don't worry that there's no pressure on you to do that job. But it's happened in the past, okay, where I've kind of recruited somebody and then they do end up feeling a bit indentured, you know, and I don't want that to happen to people. Okie dokie. So thanks so much. And that, let me just see if there's anything I've missed here that really needs to be spoken about. Yeah, okay, so yeah, yes, Frank was asking, I guess, here, Trace One, thanks mate, I don't feel comfortable with selling at the peak as I don't have much trading experience. How are we supposed to know when the stock has peaked? Price targets are much easier. Right, I get what you're saying there, because how are you supposed to tell when something's peaked? And price targets are easier, but of course, you know, yeah, exactly. It's going to be impossible to know exactly. I mean, we've made price targets, and price targets are great and everything to have, but they're speculative. Managing your sort of, you know, looking at the trend and listening to what the charts are telling you is extremely useful. But like you say, Frank, of course, you know, it does take experience. But we'll hopefully deliver a good deal of that experience for you. I swear to goodness, people who watch the channel here learn at a rate which is like whenever I was in Spain learning Spanish. You know, people watch the show and then they're tired afterwards at times. I get it. You know, there's a lot of learning here. It can be very intense at times, but it speeds it up so much for you. So much. At least, right, that's it. So love you all. Gonna catch you later. So Queen Bee, thanks for tuning in. Bane C, thanks for tuning in. Apple Blossom, AB Lopez, Jeff Smith, Mass Spectrometer, Lift to Eat, Mining Boom, Jeff Smith again, Queen Bee again, of course. Everybody, Tristan Troop, and we have Mass Spectrometer, Mining Boom, Isaiah, Duro, Horn Hunter, Alba Gabra, Eddie Koreshi, Adam O, Worth His Life, and so many of you, too many to name almost. The Zig, Marius G, Ronaldo earlier on, Swirly V, Apple Blossom, she's so lovely, and Ulysses Sanchez. And to name but a few. Every single one of you are the hero of this. I love you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Massively appreciated. Thanks for hitting like. Thanks for everybody who donated and supports the channel, and to all the members, the new members today. You're joined the family, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all as soon as I can.